What is up, people?
Hey guys.
Do it.
Do what?
And
And we're back. I think it's a little head bobble.
yeah, it's the serious look that you get when you do it.
Yeah.
It does it for me.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
We did not do the whiteboard. For everybody in Patreon who was expecting there to be a big whiteboard, we couldn't figure out the microphone situation.
Too much going on in the room. Too many cameras, too many cords.
I probably could have made it work with a lav mic, but it wouldn't have been able to do it live. Yeah. And if we could have done it live, I haven't figured that out yet because I'm not there. I'll get there eventually, just not today.
I guess I'll just show the crappy little doodle I have in my notebook and read to you guys.
That works. That works.
Because I scribbled it in a hurry. I saw in there, AJ said, oh, they're late. And Heather said, I dare you to fire them. Fire us, AJ.
Yeah, fire us.
We're the show. You just want to get straight into it?
I mean, we can talk to Discord, talk to the chat a little bit. We don't have, there's only 60 people in here right now. I don't know. It's like half of what we had last week. Maybe they're just not interested in us today. I don't really know what's happening.
What if we got a green screen and I'm like a news anchor and I stand in front of the green screen and we like superimpose whatever art I did or whatever thing I need to explain? That's smart.
Yeah, it's
Can
a
we
whole
do
lot of
that?
work.
More work than getting the whiteboard in here and the lav mic?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot more work because it means I have to be on the computer even more, setting all that up.
Okay. We need an editing team.
Yeah. Yep. We need a lot of things. Amanda Hall said, "Peaches teaches." That's what we
Love
should. That's
that.
what we should call these. Peaches teaches.
Instead of the book breakdown?
Yep. I'm gonna have to change that when we're done.
Are you really
I'm
changing
gonna
it?
change the playlist to Peaches teaches.
I love that.
Yep. So we're going on vacation tomorrow.
I'm so excited.
And I was thinking about doing a backpack loadout so that you guys could see what kind of camera gear I'm taking with me so that like when we're walking around St. Augustine, you could see what we actually have to shoot with. But I don't think that that's going to be one of those things that people really care too much to see. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'm going to actually do that or not. Although I did buy that backpack.
I think you should.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. You guys got anything that you would like to discuss before we jump right into her split the difference conversation?
Someone said top of the morning.
Yeah, I saw that.
Love that. Oh, people are kind of digging the vlog
Yeah,
backpack thing.
I'd have to do it on your desk, and I'd have to move cameras around. And
I forgot we have things to open.
oh, let's do that first. Yeah, we got packages. Got packages, people.
So we got things from people. And there are no identifying things on here, so don't.
Not on that one. The other one there is.
Um,
But it's a bag, so you just open it with the label facing you.
well, even on the label, I can't see like any of their identifying
Okay.
information. Okay. This is from Danny. I am losing my mind. I am. So in the Discord, our wonderful Discord team creates emojis and GIFs and stuff, right? And they started, I constantly use like the Elmo fire chaos GIF. So they created the emoji for it. And I am constantly just blasting it in the Discord. She painted it, and it has my green vape.
That's funny.
This is now one of my most cherished possessions.
Yeah.
Tell me that just doesn't, it exudes me.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And then yours is over here.
You open it. I can see it.
You don't, okay. She wrapped this really good.
I actually think that she had the people at the UPS store do it.
Oh, really? They did a really good job. Okay. And then the chess pieces. What does it say?
Ephesians 5:25.
Ephesians? I love that you took the time to paint these for us.
Which reads, husbands, go all out in your love for your wives, exactly as Christ did for the church, a love marked by giving, not getting.
I'm going to cry. I love that. I'm putting those on my dresser.
Yeah?
Yeah. Thank you, Danny.
I think it's pretty dope that people create and send.
I know.
Yeah.
And we get to keep it and look at it.
Yeah.
And then we received this thing. I believe this is from Piotr. Piotr? Yes, she's here. Fantastic. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is what you said came in, so I'm going to need clarification.
Get a lot of people saying hello from where they're at. I saw hello from Utah twice.
Utah?
We at some point are going to do a helicopter tour in Utah, and we are going to land that bitch on a giant rock formation and take sunset photos. It's a bucket list item.
I would love that.
Same.
So it was a bag within a bag, and now I'm even more excited.
Now there's bag inception going on.
Right. I need like a little letter opener.
Do you need me to get you a knife?
No, it's okay.
Oh, look at that. Your fingers work just fine.
I just don't like using my fingers. I pay for them.
She said there should be a note from Amazon.
A note? Okay, I'm not going to pull anything out yet then. I did pull out a bunch of paper. A note. Okay, so she says, I felt this was a necessary addition to Peach's court. Hope it works well. Thank you for all you do, from Jessica.
Is it actually a gavel? Because that's what you said it was before you opened it.
I was feeling it. Yeah. I picked it. It fucking is.
It is. It's a gavel. I have spoken.
You guys just unlocked a door. It is. It's a fucking gavel. This is gorgeous. Wait. I think it's the table.
No, it's wood on wood. That's what it sounds like. It's not a fake sound effect from a movie.
I like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna need you to calm down over there, Judge Booty.
Oh man. My mind's just running. I'm gonna need the outfit. I'm gonna need like the little collar thing. Did you guys ever watch The Amanda Show?
No.
Have you ever heard of that? It was like an late 90s, early 2000s show on Nickelodeon. And it was hosted by this chick named Amanda Bynes. Fucking ruined her. But I loved that show as a child. And that's the kind of chaos I'm envisioning in my mind right now. So if you guys understand, you understand.
They love that Judge Booty comment.
They did, yeah. That was good. I'm going to that makes me feel loved, so I'm gonna need you to incorporate that into like the sweet things you tell me. I can't get over the fact that he's holding a vape.
Yeah.
I just feel so encaptured.
That green vape is the battery that you have for that is only because we can't find batteries in any of the dispensaries without having to go to an actual vape store.
Yeah.
Every time I go to the dispensary, I'm like, "You got any new batteries?" And they're like, "Nope, you got to go to the vape store down the road." I'm like, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah. If I could have a pink one, I would, but
yeah, we might be able to find them online, have them mailed to us like off Amazon or something. I never thought to even check that.
So I just saw someone said, "Good luck on your tattoo apprentice journey." So that's actually on pause right now.
That has been on pause for a hot minute.
It has. I have fully dedicated myself to this podcast. So that dream might be revisited down the road. We'll see what happens. But I did definitely enjoy doing it. I knocked out some pretty decent pieces for a beginner.
Yeah. We are finally over 100 people watching. So if you would like to jump into your notes, we can do that.
Okay. So I wanted to clarify, this is part 4.
Yes, which is chapter 3.
Correct. So just so you guys aren't confused, there's 10 chapters we're going to cover, but there's going to be 11 parts to this because we split the first chapter into 2 separate videos.
For everybody that sent super chats, I know that we've gotten at least 2 of them. Those will be read when we're done. As she's reading, if you want to interrupt the podcast, it's $50 and up on the super chats. We'll get your super chat read immediately. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you got to wait until we get through the segment, and then we will get to that. And that way, if we decide to clip this and upload it to the podcast, there's not a bunch of debauchery going on in between.
Right. All right. So we're in chapter 3, and this chapter is labeled "Don't Feel Their Pain, Label It."
I'm going to address something real quick. The person that asked you about your apprenticeship said that they're a tattoo artist.
Okay.
And that would love to give both of us pieces. I actually am a tattoo artist. I've been a tattoo artist since 1997. I've owned 7 studios. I currently own one of the most successful shops in Florida.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to come to Florida and you're a decent tattoo artist, you can send your portfolio to the tobebetterco at gmail.com. And we have guest stations available at my shop. Sorry.
No, you're good.
I'm exhausted.
I can tell.
I slept last night for the first time and like truly slept.
Yeah, it's been about 4 days.
Yeah. I'm still not up yet. And I'm a ephedric pill, an energy drink, and this is my second one. I will wake up before 6 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, you think so? I just had to process what you said. All right. So, don't feel their pain, label it. So the previous chapter focused on separating people's emotions from the problem. On top of separating the emotions from the problem, you have to be able to label their emotion to understand the motive behind it or the trigger behind it. And we're going to get into reading blurbs.
Why do I just switched the camera? It hasn't switched over on the screen yet, but on OBS.
Yeah.
And as soon as you popped up, you were like, like you were getting ready to really say some important shit. And all I could think of in my head was Lady in Red, the song.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyways, I'm old.
Is it Chevy Flattered? How am I supposed to?
I'll play it when we're done.
Okay. So, there is nothing more frustrating or disruptive to any negotiation than to get the feeling that you're talking to someone who isn't listening. I don't understand is a legitimate response, but ignoring the other party's position only builds up frustration and makes them less likely to do what you want. So when your partner words vomits, ignoring them and saying, "You're overreacting, you're so emotional, I can't handle you," makes them less likely to feel safe in opening up and finding a resolution.
So wait a minute, you're saying that you should never tell somebody you're overreacting?
Correct.
That doesn't benefit you and get them to instantly calm down? Oh, wow. Wild. I never knew that.
So, do you know the definition of empathy? Like what it means?
Like the actual definition? No.
Okay.
I have the gist of it.
So you understand what it means to empathize with
Right.
somebody, but you don't know the definition of empathy itself.
No, I don't have that memorized. Not yet. I'm not there. I'm still in the C's
The C's?
of the dictionary of trying to remember all of it.
Really?
No. No, not really.
Are you fucking with me? What is happening right now?
I'm not reading the dictionary.
I
yet.
know,
I have
I was-
a 7th grade education. I don't have definitions memorized unless they really spoke to me.
I was going to complain. I don't. Empathy. The ability to understand the perspective of someone else and being able to vocalize that understanding. That does not mean that you agree with their view, values, or beliefs. That is sympathy.
Okay.
Everybody on the same page. All right. Tactical empathy is understanding the feelings and mindset of another in a moment and also hearing what is behind those feelings so you increase your influence in the moments that follow. Don't use that shit to manipulate people. Listening to understand versus listening to speak. That is literally what that is.
And that's so prevalent in everything that we talk about.
Have we said that?
A lot. A lot.
No. That's how people act when we say we've said that. Have you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen everything on TikTok.
Yeah, I've watched all your videos. Do you have a video on corn? Do you have a video on cheating? Because I've watched all your content. Here, let me send you the link. How do I find the check-ins? Here, let me send you the link.
You could call us a grill right now because we are definitely roasting veggies. All right. Most of us enter verbal combat unlikely to persuade anyone of anything because we already know and care about our own goals and perspectives.
So you're saying that in conflict you can't resolve things? That's crazy. It's almost like we've said that too.
Correct.
I'm starting to see a pattern here.
It's almost like we know what we're talking about and other people are talking about it.
Yep.
So
There's like inception happening right now. Wordception.
wordception. I would say it's deeper than that.
Well, then what is deeper than inception?
I don't know, a certain intelligence level.
The Matrix?
I mean, think about it. When you're not able to understand something, you're not able to understand something. You're unable to access that level.
Someone said, "Do you have a YouTube?"
We have a YouTube. So I'm going to reread that because what I got from that was selfish versus selfless.
Yep.
So most of us enter verbal combat unlikely to persuade anyone of anything because we only know and care about our own goals and perspective. So when you're in a heated moment with your significant other, your mom, your brother, Uncle Jim, you are so focused on defending your point and making sure that you're heard and understood that you are neglecting to understand their point as well. So when you don't have a goal of understanding them, why would they try to understand you?
Right. Strong possibility that even if your goal was to understand them, they're not going to take the time to understand you.
Right. The hope is that they would.
Right. Because most of the time people are speaking to be heard, not speaking to understand.
I looked back at Elmo holding the vape and chuckled again. I did a stitch about corn desensitizing. If you're talking about a recent stitch, I did a stitch about women who are on the bandwagon of watching corn isn't cheating, or I'm fine with him checking out other women or publicly showing other women attention. I stitched a video of a woman saying that there is psychological data and research done that shows that your man is training himself to no longer find you attractive in those situations. That's just crazy to me. Human brain's wild.
Yeah. It makes sense, though.
It really does when you think about it.
It's why it escalates.
It does. All right. Empathy is a classic soft communication skill, but it has a physical basis. When we closely observe a person's face, gestures, and tone of voice, our brain begins to align with theirs in a process called neural resonance. And that lets us know more fully what they think and feel. Do you have any idea what neural resonance is? I went down a rabbit hole of how neurons in the brain work and synapses and neurochemicals and all of this shit just because I didn't understand neural resonance.
Okay, so you want to fill everyone in?
I will. I'm going to start with neural resonance and then we're going to build off of that information. I just wanted to, I don't know, it's absolutely insane to me how much we truly don't understand how we ourselves work as human beings. I did 45 minutes of research yesterday just trying to understand how my brain worked in releasing chemicals that triggers reactions that I have to deal with. So I'm going to bounce off first and just explain that point a little bit of talking about how it's a soft communication skill and it ties in with body language. So you have to pay attention to the body language, and that ties in with you being able to empathize with the person. So if someone is shaking, fidgeting, and won't make eye contact, but they're telling you that they're fine, you shouldn't ignore that I'm fine. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So a neural resonance breakdown. I had to define what neural even meant in this because neural resonance just isn't defined on the internet. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, dope.
I just realized it. I mean, I'm not recording on here anyways. It's just running through OBS, but the memory card wasn't in there.
Okay. So the breakdown to understand what neural resonance is. A neural network is a cluster of neurons that are interconnected that send electrical signals to one another to help humans process information. So in understanding what a neural network is, it is your personal experiences that affects how the networks are formed. And that has influence and sways, which is your cognitive bias. That's what the neural is. Taking in information, filtering it through your network of brain patterns of how everything was built through every experience you've ever had. And then resonance is to produce or to be filled with a deep, full, reverberating sound. And reverberation means to return or echo. So in neural resonance, you are pretty much mimicking to them whatever they're expressing to you to show that you are understanding them. Make sense?
You want me to elaborate on this?
It's mimicking. It's mirroring.
This is also the reason why people are sheep. And it's so hard for people to be free thinkers.
Correct.
Because this is what's being taught in government-ran school systems. Because you're taught to remember and regurgitate.
Camera's still on me.
Instead of learn. It's fine.
Okay.
You look better than I do. They'd much rather look at you than me. So until I have a whole lot to say, it's going to stay there. That's right.
Okay. Did that make sense to everybody? I hope that made sense to everybody.
Made sense to me.
Okay. So when your neural resonance dies, so has your communication in the relationship. When you are no longer open to empathizing and sharing that neural resonance with the person you're with, there's no more communication. You don't care anymore. That's a problem. So to reiterate, empathy does not equate to being nice or agreeing. It's about understanding their thought process. I am so intrigued by how your brain works.
Mine?
Yes.
Okay.
Outside of disruptions and us having to figure things out in life, just listening to the way that you take in information and process it and form thoughts is just mind-boggling to me. There are things that you think of and connect and tie together that I would have never looked at in my life. And it's just insane hearing how your gears turn. If you are not intrigued by your partner that way, what are you doing? Like, if you don't want to understand your partner on all levels, especially in moments of tension, I don't understand the point of that. That's what it is to be in a long-term relationship. That's what it is to be married. One of the things to be married,
right,
is to have that just ever-growing curiosity of understanding a whole nother human being that's dedicated themselves to you.
Would you say that that's why people fall into the roommate phase?
Because that curiosity ends?
Yeah, because
I would say so.
They feel like they know everything they need to know about their partner. This is why in the men's group on one of the dates they had to have a discussion about history, where they had a discussion about something in their lives that the other person didn't know. And everyone in the men's group were like, oh, I've been with my woman forever. They know everything. I'm like, I bet you they fucking don't. Because there's that one odd memory that's going to get triggered by a song. And you're going to be like, hey, did you know this happened to me when I was a kid? Or one time I did this on the beach, or like I got into a bar fight one night and slammed one's head in a urinal. Like you never know what those conversations are going to look like.
Right. Excuse me. I'm so burpy. I apologize, guys. All right. So for 6 straight hours in that sweltering apartment building hallway, the 2 FBI negotiating students and I took turns speaking. So in this scenario, he is talking about how there are...
In this what?
Scenario.
The scenario?
Canary. Crick.
Star Wars? That one hasn't hit yet.
Why would... Now they're going to be like, what do you mean? What did she say?
That's the teaser trailer for the new movie coming out where you can't say Star Wars.
So in this scenario, he is talking about how there is a kind of a standoff. There are people locked in an apartment. It's not like they're having a showdown and the cops going in is going to get them shot at or anything. It's just they're trying to coax people out without violence. So for 6 straight hours, they all took turns just talking through that door saying, I know you don't want to go back to jail. I know this sucks for you. I know you didn't think this was going to happen. Nothing's bad's going to happen to you. You just have to walk out the door.
Yeah, except for
you're going to go back to jail.
You're going to jail. Yeah.
Right. He's like, but you're not going to die.
Good.
That's the point.
People die in jail all the time.
He means them walking out that door, they are not going to get shot at by the whomever FBI SWAT team sitting outside with a bunch of red lines on them.
Yeah.
I would be absolutely horrified.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is how I'm going, this is how I'm going. This is the life I chose, but... Wow. I would just start playing AC/DC in the background and walk out. Let's go. Okay. So they took turns speaking. We rotated in order to avoid verbal stumbles and other errors caused by tiredness. So they have implemented in high stress situations that the same person is not talking for hours on end because it will lead to mental exhaustion, which will make you falter on your thoughts. You're going to say things you don't mean. You cannot come to a resolution while mentally exhausted.
Do you know how we know that information?
I'm sure you'll elaborate.
PsyOps.
PsyOps.
We know that information from torturing people.
Did not know that's what PsyOps meant.
Psychological warfare. They did it in internment camps. They would keep people up for days. Really cold environments, not letting them sleep, not letting them eat.
That's what they did at Waco.
Playing music really loud so that they couldn't fall asleep, because when you start to get tired, your brain doesn't function the way it's supposed to.
I can sleep through anything. That's not gonna... Nice try, guys. Next.
Hit you with that biodome and play We Can Dance If We Wanna.
Hey.
Well, on repeat.
Friends behind. Someone said Peaches is both the juror and the criminal. The more that I become comfortable with the podcast and showing you guys who I am, I really am just a tornado of chaos.
Yeah.
But it's neutral chaos because I'm logical in it.
Not always.
I'm not causing chaos to disrupt people's lives. You know, I'm not.
Define people. Because it disrupts mine daily.
In a bad way?
Not always. You are chaotic. All the time. It's exciting. I never know what I'm going to get.
Right. So I'm going to need you to... I'm insecure now.
Why? I just said it.
Because you're like, define people. And it's affecting my life. How?
Well, you said that it doesn't affect people's lives.
In a negative way. I'm not like...
You didn't say that, though. You just said it
so
doesn't affect people's lives.
I'm not disrupting lives in a negative way.
You're right. You're not.
Fantastic. I know I disrupt your life constantly. As
Yes.
long as it's not like, oh my God, I'm so tired of her.
No, that's not a thing.
Thank you for loving me. I really am a lot sometimes, aren't I?
Yes.
You're someone who's overstimulated easily.
Yes, I am.
Too. Do you think I do a good job of like recognizing that and backing off?
Yeah, but I also have noise canceling headphones that do everything they're supposed to do.
Well, yeah, I know that. But when you don't use them,
Yeah.
you feel like I do an okay job of recognizing that I need to shut up?
I don't really get too overstimulated when it's just us.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel good. I'm glad. Okay. So labeling is a way to validate one's emotions by naming or acknowledging whatever they're going through. If you see someone crying, you look a little bit sad. Is something going on? They are more likely...
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
When someone is in emotional
It's
throes...
allergies.
When someone's in emotional throes and they're not just doing it for attention seeking...
Yeah.
You labeling their emotion will be, they are seeing that empathy. They're like, okay, they are seeing that I'm going through it. That kind of opened a little bit of a safe way for me to say something.
Yeah.
Notice how I said they're not attention seeking. People who are attention seeking will be, oh my God, my life is so miserable. I hate it here. I can't believe this happened to me. I'm the most unluckiest person. You see it on Facebook all the damn time.
Yeah.
And then they will never elaborate. I'm so triggered.
Big booking.
Never say anything. Then people even go, why are you triggered?
Because that's what they want.
Silence.
They want people to try to engage them in conversation, or they're trying to get the right person to engage them in conversation.
Just tell me how you feel. Or if I acknowledge that you're going through something, that's me opening the doorway for you to be open with me. Let's get it out. We can problem solve together and then we'll be happy in 5 minutes.
I lose all interest in a conversation when it starts with I'm triggered.
Me too. Don't say I'm triggered. Just say, hey, I heard this and it made me think this. What do you think about that?
Yep. Yep, I view that as attention seeking. I'm so offended. Yeah, I don't give a shit.
I'm offended all the damn time. A lizard walk across my toe the other day when I was in my Crocs. Offended. The audacity. How dare you? I don't even look like dirt. How? How could you?
Little mini Godzilla said, "Get out of my way. Fuck it. I'm stepping on you."
He did. And I'm walking here.
Hey, I'm walking here.
I was offended one time when McDonald's was shorting me a chicken nugget. Like,
Well, that's different. You paid for that.
I'm still offended. No one cares I'm offended. Go back through the drive-thru and get your chicken nugget. Shut up about it. And if you're just venting to vent, say you're venting to vent. I wasn't expecting to go on that side rail. I apologize, guys. So I'm going to read some examples to labeling. So it looks like you don't want to come out. It seems like you're worried if you open the door, we will come in with guns blazing, and it looks like you don't want to go back to jail. That's what they repeated through the door for like 6 hours straight. And the people finally came out and said the only reason we were able to do this is because you calmed us down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And none of that was I statements or you statements. It seems, we understand. When you go into you're always angry, that's a little bit of an attack. I've noticed you've been super frustrated lately. Is there anything I can do to alleviate that for you?
Yep.
Two totally different conversations.
I'm here if you ever want to talk about it.
Yes. Also, labeling instead of defending or attacking increases intimacy. He said that in the book. So, if we're saying it, and somebody who wrote Hang on.
Are you looking to see if it's a New York Times bestseller?
I am, yes.
I don't think that one is, but I am almost positive that he is a New York Times bestseller.
Possibly New York Times bestseller, agrees with us and is spewing the same things. Maybe there is some validity to it. So exposing negative thoughts or feelings to the light makes them less scary. Would you agree with that?
Only if you're afraid of the dark. See what I did there?
I did see what you did
Dad
there.
joke. Ba-dum-bum.
That was good, and I have nothing to say back to it. You know, in this context of exposing negative thoughts or feelings to the light makes them seem less scary. When you repeat something to yourself over and over and over again, and you've never verbalized it to anybody else, it is the worst case scenario, worst thing you've ever told yourself. It is the most scariest thing ever. And then you say out loud, I am absolutely horrified of 3-inch spiders. It's a little bit less scary now, right?
I mean, a 3-inch spider is a pretty big spider. It's like tarantula-sized spider.
But now you know I'm scared of spiders. So if you ever see a spider, you're going to take care of it.
There are times that you look at me and I can tell in your head you're going, shut the fuck up.
No, I don't think that. You're hitting me with things I don't expect you to say. So I'm like, how do I respond? This isn't what I anticipated. Oh my God. I don't plan out negative arguments, but I plan out things that you could respond with in these moments. And when you don't, I'm just totally sideblinded and I'm doing this to myself. That's a self-realization.
Go you.
Don't do that, guys. Don't plan conversations because then you're going to look absolutely silly because you now have to formulate a new response. Is that self-sabotage?
Does that mean that you were listening to respond instead of listening to understand?
No.
Are you sure?
If I was listening to respond, I would have just said what I wanted to say without hearing what you said.
Okay.
I think a perfect example of me listening to hear to understand is me going, oh, fuck, I don't know what to say. All right. Little blurb. In one brain image study, psychology professor Matthew Lieberman of the University of California, Los Angeles, found that when people are shown photos of faces expressing strong emotion, the brain shows greater activity in the amygdala, Love that word. The part that generates fear. But when they are asked to label the emotion, the activity moves to the areas that govern rational thinking. In other words, labeling an emotion, applying rational words to a fear disrupts its raw intensity. Is that self-explanatory, or should I elaborate a little bit?
Let's see what the chat says. Apparently, this is not a New York Times bestseller, but it is ranked number 15 on Amazon for nonfiction. And then she said that was a lot of Googling. Screw New York Times bestseller list.
Thank you for doing that.
How does that make you feel?
What?
To know that we have people that are involved in this podcast all over the world that are literally acting as directors and producers and like our research team.
Oh, do you know how insane it is?
Yeah.
Absolutely mind-boggling.
Yep.
Is sign blinded not a word?
No, it's supposed blindsided, babe. Did was that an intentional statement? I thought you just misspoke. I wasn't gonna point it out. Ooh, you're turning red like your dress.
I'm having flashbacks to when I was corrected on Helicopter.
Oh man.
Oh wow. Well, that's another peachism that people can add to the dictionary that's growing.
Yeah, it is.
Oh. How many times do I say something and you're like, oh, she must have misspoke?
A lot. A lot.
Please start correcting me.
That's an asshole thing to do when someone's speaking. Even if I'm like, wait, did you mean that or did you mean this?
I could have. I've side blinded. You're like, yeah, baby, get it.
It's rude to like correct people like that. I got you though. If you want me to start correcting you, I'll start correcting you when I hear it.
Please. Oh my gosh.
I probably won't, but
no, how am I supposed to grow as a person if you don't help me with these things?
That's what Discord's for.
Thank you guys. Someone said not Helicopter. Someone please clip Peach's shock.
Someone said Peaches is the star of the show. That is factual.
That's crazy. It's okay, Peaches. For close to 16 years, I thought Tupperware was Tupperware. It's Tupperware? Tupper.
Yeah, with
The
peas.
fuck does Tupper mean?
What does tubber mean?
Tubber. It's a tub that we put things in to store.
It's technically a container.
It's a tub.
Okay.
I can fill it with water and bathe a frog in it. It's a tub. I mean, that can work with anything that holds liquid, and that's kind of a very flimsy, it wouldn't hold up in court. Tupper doesn't make sense to me.
Carrington said I was driving and heard side blinded and started second guessing myself. That's right. Somebody said beneficial in front of their kid the other day, and they were like, and now they won't stop saying it.
I love that. They're carrying on the chaos. Someone said, okay, hold on. Okay, no, I'm getting distracted. I need to stop. I apologize. Okay. So before we go any further, would you guys like me to define the things I need to define to help understanding the whole neurological aspect of things here?
Oh, look at that. Tupperware is the brand name, and not all containers are Tupperware.
Oh.
So I'm gonna just go for that for a second. You know what those things are that has the cotton on the tips that you use to clean your ears?
Yes.
Do you know what they're called?
Cotton swabs.
Right. Do you know that it's called that?
Yeah.
Most people will tell you it's a Q-tip.
Correct.
That's the brand. They are cotton swab applicators in the body piercing and tattooing industry.
Right.
It's not a Q-tip. I didn't know that shit until like 6 years ago. And when I was like, what are you talking about? And dude corrected me on that. I was like, it's a Q-tip, bro. And he's like, that's the brand. It is a cotton swab applicator. And I went on this whole little tangent about why it's a fucking Q-tip, because every Q-tip brand box that I've ever owned has said Q-tip. And I went down a whole marketing venue. Right. That is one of the most successful marketing brands on the planet, because when you see those, you say Q-tip.
Right. Genius.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Same thing with the Tupperware brand. You call all of that Tupperware.
Right.
Nobody's like, give me one of those plastic containers with a lid on it. Hand me that little Tupperware.
Well, I say Tupperware. So
Well, apparently you're wrong.
I would say that they're just not that great at marketing.
Yep.
Also, funny memory that I just had that kind of ties into a conversation that we were just having. The whole cotton swab versus Q-tip thing. There was a time eons ago when I was piercing and I was like, oh, can you pass me that Q-tip? And you were like, a cotton swab?
I did that.
So what changed? Why are you no longer okay with correcting me?
Because you are an apprentice.
Okay.
It is my duty as your mentor to teach you the way to do things and call things by the proper terminology. If you were like, hand me that clamp, and I'm like, it's a Pennington. You need to be specific in those moments.
Okay. Okay.
So, Big Danny said, hand me the frog tub.
All right.
Somebody said, check the ball pit. I can't, because if I open Discord, you guys will start hearing the notifications come through on my computer.
Okay, so everybody do kind of want the breakdown. So I'm going to break down pretty much from the base up on how we intake things and how we get our emotions and feelings triggered. Are we ready?
Go for it, babe.
So we're going to define what a neuron is. A neuron receives sensory input from the external world. And it very vaguely looks like this.
It actually focused on it, but it's very light. Now, you look back at the camera. There you go. Oh, maybe not. Come on, Sony, do your job. There you go. There.
Neuron receives sensory input from the external world. So you are taking things in with your eyeballs, ears, mouth, all of those things, right? Neuron transmitter is a chemical that is released, like the dopamine, adrenaline, and is sent to the correct receptor, right? So imagine that these little neuron transmitters is the car that is carrying the neurochemical that is going to trigger your fear, anger, anxiety, whatever is going on, right? All of those things interact when it comes to, for example, you saw that your man heart reacted a half-naked chick on Instagram. And you had that sinking feeling in your stomach, right? Instant panic. You received the information from the external world. You processed it, the chemical release, and transmitted, which triggered the emotion, right? The feeling was maybe betrayal. But that instant anger or anxiety or fear reaction is going to blind all of that, and you're just going to lose your shit on your man. Instead of saying, babe, I noticed today that you were going through and liking some photos that made me a little bit uncomfortable. Can we have a conversation about that? Instead of just going, I can't believe you've done this to me. You're no longer attracted to me. Why are you doing this? You're cheating on me. Two totally different conversations.
Yeah.
Okay. Did that breakdown make sense to you?
It did to me.
All
but we're
right.
not talking to me. You're talking to them. I'm along for the ride. You're the star of the show. They are your audience. I'm here to hype you up and be like, yeah, bitch, you read that shit. Fucking get it. Tell them what a neurotransmitter is.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. Okay.
Tell that motherfucker not to heart react those photos. Get him, babe.
How long have we been live for? Oh, almost an hour. So I was pretty right about how long my notes were going to take. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
All right. I'm waiting to see how everybody's responding. Yes, like the five senses. So the input from the external world into your internal world is your five senses.
Right.
That is how you are processing information from the outside in.
And it's also filtered through your cognitive bias.
Correct. That cognitive bias
Means that your perception is your reality and not everyone else's. So the way that you process information and deal with information externally coming into your body is not the way that everyone else does, which is why you need to be able to communicate effectively with your partner or you will never have the same conversation. Mind blown.
Correct.
I'm fucking throwing microphones. Let's burn this bitch down, babe.
I am horrified at how ready I was. You getting hyped gets me hyped.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on the cognitive bias again that you just mentioned. So we touched on previously that the cognitive bias frames the way that your neuron network is built. So your experiences form your cognitive bias. So for example, say that you were constantly berated by an ex, your neural network has now been reformed to survive that situation. It's not that your neural network is broken or your neural transmitters are broken. You literally have to break up that asphalt, mix it, and then relay it to form a new cognitive bias or a new way of thinking. Okay. For most people, it is one of the most awkward negotiation tools to use, meaning empathy or soft communication. Before they try it the first time, my students always tell me that they expect their counterpart to jump and shout, "Don't you dare tell me how I feel," when it comes to the labeling. So the verbiage matters. When you say, "It seems like you're upset," when somebody's gone silent, you're labeling that emotion. That gives them the opportunity to say, "No, I'm not really upset. Maybe I just woke up feeling a little bit weird because I had a bad dream." Either way, that opens the door for them to label their own emotion and tell you what's going on, and you can get included in their little mental loop.
I'm going to pause you because somebody said that you should look into framing bias as well.
Okay.
And we know cognitive bias because that's a very prevalent thing in this book, which is why it's constantly brought up in our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Framing bias refers to the observation that since somebody said I wasn't in the shot. Framing bias refers to the observation that the manner in which data is presented can affect decision making. The most famous example of framing bias is Mark Twain's story of Tom Sawyer whitewashing the fence. By framing the chore in positive terms, he got his friends to pay him for the privilege of doing his work. So framing bias is basically manipulation. That's the short end of that long ass fucking paragraph.
Okay, I'm going to have to read that again on my own, or read it on my own. Oh. Okay, reading it makes sense.
Done?
So like scams and shit, MLM companies and whatnot.
Yeah, it's
a framing bias.
It's manipulation.
Okay. Wow.
Going back to you because people don't need to see me.
Well, I like it when you're on the screen with me. Is that my trap?
Yes, that is your trap. I need you to calm down over there, She-Hulk.
I'm so proud of my body. Like, I'm getting to the point, the fact that I have muscular definition, when I hold my arms up now, you can see I have a shoulder muscle that's different from my bicep.
What are those called? Because you know your bicep, you know your tricep.
I do. Bicep, tricep.
What are the shoulder muscles called? There's 3 of them.
I know there's the deltoid.
There's 3 of them.
3 deltoids?
Mm-hmm.
Is there an inferior one?
Technically, by definition and name, no, but the rear delt is the inferior deltoid. It's the smallest of the 3.
I'm going to be honest. I did do like human anatomy and physiology and all of that. I am more better at like naming bones and like the little fissures.
You're more better?
More better, yes.
Okay.
More qualified, I suppose. I lack the information.
Better at.
To name the muscles.
Okay.
So there's the rear deltoid.
The what?
The rear. Did I not say what?
You said the rare.
Rear.
You said the rare deltoid.
Rear
It's funny.
deltoid. I'm sure there's one nicknamed superior.
There's not. No, people don't actually call them by their name. They call them front, center, and rear.
Front, center, and
but
rear.
But it's anterior, medial, and posterior deltoids.
See, I know medial and all of that. So there's the front, center, and rear deltoid in the shoulder.
And when you do that, which one are you seeing?
So when I come up, this one here, I'm going to say is the front.
Yeah, but if you rotate your elbow down,
Like
down. That's your center.
I've never done that before.
That's when you do your rear lateral or your side laterals. That's what you're training, is that lump where her forehead is.
I need to chill. I don't really move my arms around to see all the muscles like that. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I do that by working out. Hell yeah, that's so cool. All right, so to label, you have to be aware of their emotional state. Words, tone, and body language should be viewed as words, music, and dance.
Can you explain cognitive bias real quick? Again, because I know
Cognitive
you just did
bias?
it, but just give a quick understanding because somebody literally just asked in the chat.
Okay, hang on. I actually have it written down. I believe it was one of the first ones.
So, Josh Wolf, while you're looking for that, said that he tore his supraspinatus in high school. That is not something that you want to tear. That is a long fucking heel. And Jessica Piotr said, also, Chris, let's name every muscle in the human body. We don't have that much time.
No, oh my
And
God.
I
no, we
can.
don't. You can? I love that.
2 personal training certifications. I didn't have a choice. I had to learn them.
Yeah. I can do that with the bones,
Yeah.
but not with the muscles. All right, so there are more than 150 cognitive biases, and a cognitive bias is a systematic thought process caused by the tendency of the human brain to simplify information processing through a filter of personal experience and preferences. This filter is a coping mechanism. So, for example, if you in your childhood grew up and saw your mom be with verbally abusive men, your cognitive bias is men don't speak nice to women. So you're more inclined to be on that hate men train, right? When the reality of things is when you continually gravitate towards people, you have a type, you're choosing to have that same experience over and over again. When you broaden your view, if you look from the right to the left, you're going to see a whole new demographic of people. So I can't remember where I was going that my train of thought. It's gone. Did what I just say make sense though?
It did.
Okay. So the next few things, I'm just going to read some blurbs and then we're going to have a discussion about them.
Okay.
So if you say, "How is the family?" and the corner of the other party's mouth turns down, even when they say it's great, you might detect that all is not well. If their voice goes flat when a colleague is mentioned, there could be a problem between the two. If your landlord unconsciously fidgets his feet when you mention the neighbors, it's pretty clear that he doesn't think much about them. So, in all of those situations, you're paying attention to the body language. In a perfect scenario, the person would just outright say how they're feeling. I would say probably 7 out of 10 times, that's not the case. What?
I do.
You do.
I do.
Right. So you're 3 out of 10 times. If we have 10 people and we ask the first person, "How are you doing right now?" they're going to lie.
Yeah.
We ask the second person, they might be a little bit more forthcoming, but there's not going to be a lot of everything. It could be better, but things
Yeah.
are good.
If that's the 7 out of 10, I'm part of the 7. I'm not getting into that with anybody. I could be having the worst day of my fucking life. You can be like, "How's your day?" It's great. We don't need to talk about that. You don't really give a shit. You're asking me because societal standards says that that's a great way to greet somebody. "Hey man, how's it going?"
Okay.
You
so-
don't give a fuck how it's going. You just want to initiate that conversation so that we can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about. What's going on in my life is mine. So in that 7 out of 10, I am definitely 1 of 7, not 1 of 3.
Okay, so I'm going to reframe it. And out of 10 relationships, if all of those couples sat down and they were asked, "How honest do you think your partner is about what's going on with them?" I would say probably 7 out of 10 of them would say, "A lot of the times I feel like they just don't want to talk about it."
That's accurate as fuck. Yep.
So that's what I meant
Okay.
when I said. But I agree with your stance. If someone approached me, no, I'm going to be honest. You asked me the fucking question, so.
Yeah.
If someone's like, "Hey, how's your day going?" There was a person at the tattoo shop when I was piercing who would ask me that. And be like, I kind of fucking woke up mad today. I don't know what's going on, but... And then he hit me with, you're supposed to say it's fine. I'm like, no, you asked me. you went out of your way to inquire about what I'm going through. So I can go further into it. Or you're just not going to ask me anymore.
Yeah.
Because I would also be okay with that because I don't want to fucking talk to you. We're learning lessons here. Picking up on these tiny pieces of information is how psychics work.
By reading body language.
Correct.
Because 80% of communication is nonverbal.
That is very correct.
Crazy how that works.
They size up their client's body language. You sound a little bit far away from the microphone. Is it because you were leaning?
It was because I was leaning back.
Okay. They size up their client's body language and ask him a few innocent questions. When they tell his future a few minutes later, they're really just saying what he wants to hear based on small details they've spotted. More than a few psychics would make good negotiators for that very reason. So, I don't know if you've ever been to a psychic. Have you been to a psychic before?
Nope.
So, we would do when I lived in Georgia, we would go to the Renaissance Fair. And they'd have like the psychics and whatnot set up. And I was like, why not? It's an experience. And they start off by asking you questions. And you would say something and it'd be like, okay, I'm getting something. Have you lost anybody recently?
The answer to that is you're the psychic, you tell me.
Right.
That would be my answer to everything. How's your day going? You're the psychic, you tell me.
But then people would hit them with, that is the logical, you're supposed to know.
Right. Do your fucking job.
So
I can do mine.
I do believe that there are people out there who have connections to spirits and whatnot. Do I think that you can predict the future with certainty? No, I don't think you can. I think it would be like some Doctor Strange shit of, I see 4 different outcomes, you have choices to make. And though the psychics that set up with like the live calls and whatever and pay per minute, there was a massive scam where the woman came out and said was like, yeah, I just ask people questions and they answer me and people will out themselves. I'm getting an M. Is it Meredith, Marjorie? Mary. It was Mary. Oh, you lost a Mary. Okay, I'm getting it now. People get so excited with that. Oh my God, they're close to it. They're getting it, that they just insert themselves and the psychic doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, verbal charades.
Correct. That was a point that I already made, so we're moving on. So when you label with a neutral statement as it seems, it's coming across, if I'm understanding correctly, it shows that you want to understand and it encourages the other to communicate. If they disagree with the label, that is okay. As I said prior, the door has been open for them to label themselves. So if you approach someone and say, it seems you're frustrated, and they counter with, no, I'm not frustrated, or no, I'm not upset, you can't counter and go, no, it really seems it's just written on your face. You're just miserable right now. You just invalidated everything that they were just trying to tell you. And that shut the door immediately, because why are they going to try to elaborate when you already have it set in your head that they're miserable?
Right.
So in those moments, it is very important to sit down and say, okay, well, what are you going through? Because I can tell something's just a little bit off. And you do that with me a lot.
Well, I don't pry though.
No, you don't.
Hey, I think you're a little bit off right now. If you want to talk about it, I'm here.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm not prying.
Right.
Because if you're ready to talk about it, you will. And if you're still processing, you're going to hit me with I'm processing. But I need to know, babe. You're off. Is it me? Did I do something?
It's giving me anxiety.
Please tell me.
You
I
have
need
to
to
tell
know.
me. Yeah.
It's fucking me up. It's not. I know that when you're ready to talk to me, you'll talk to me about it because we're fucking adults and we have emotional maturity and good communication skills.
In that example that you just gave, that is the chemical release that's triggering your fear, triggering your anxiety that you want to satiate immediately at the expense of your partner.
Yeah.
You need to be able to sit down when that is triggered in your brain, when that chemical's released. You have to recognize it in the moment and say, okay, I'm recognizing my brain is doing this thing. I need to understand what's happening inside of me right now. I don't know if you guys, everybody has their own different beliefs. I believe that my soul is separate from my physical form. You don't have to believe in that. You could think that's absolute ludicrousy. I am saying that to explain the thought process a little bit behind what I'm saying. So when that chemical is released and you have that anxiety and panic and you need it satiated right now and you have to tell me what's the matter, I need to know if I did something wrong. You need to elaborate so I can stop panicking. That is literally your physical form pushing you into that default setting. When your soul separates from that and you're able to say, okay, why the fuck is my body doing this right now? I need to understand what's happening in this organic matter, the way that we study why lions do shit or the way elephants do shit. You need to observe yourself and gain that better understanding. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay. I'm trying really hard not to go in cycles of repeating myself, just phrasing it differently. Okay.
Courtney said, I do that all the time. I'm insecure and interpreting the silence as anger. Is that actual insecurity or is it a learned behavioral trait because of things people have done to you that you haven't learned to work through yet?
I think when you're able to label an insecurity versus a learned trait, that's going to change the way you view things.
Right. When somebody says we need to talk, I get that way. Fuck do you mean we need to talk? You just, we're talking right now. Why don't you just fucking say what you need to say instead of trying to set up some like cataclysmic event where we're going to have this huge conversation? And they always go, well, it's not that big of a deal. Then why didn't you just fucking say what you need to say instead of pre-phrasing it with we need to have a conversation?
Right.
Because we are currently having a conversation. Why don't you grow the fuck up and just say what's on your mind, say it with your chest. If you can't do that, then shut the fuck up.
Right.
I don't play those games.
I don't either.
We can talk about it now, or you can forever hold your peace.
I like that. Ooh, I like that.
I get salty over that shit.
What was I
It
gonna
feels
say?
childish to me. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like an emotional vampire. I'm having kind of a shitty day, so I'm going to tell you we need to talk so you can go ahead and give me some of that energy that you're holding on to make me feel a little bit better right now. So let me do that. Let me set this up so that they can start prying and feeding me that attention and that energy that they're having to try to get it out of me because I'm going to feel fully charged by the time it's done.
Right. They're trying to pull you on their roller coaster.
Right. That falls into control dramas.
It does. What did you say before that?
I don't remember.
Okay. All right. So the last rule of labeling is silence. Once you've thrown out a label, you have to be quiet and listen. There have been multiple points on this podcast where we have talked about when you sit in silence, people will just talk and talk and talk and talk.
Yep.
So once you throw out a label and say, it seems you're kind of going through it today, don't say anything else. Wait for them to respond. If they just sit in silence, they heard you. They are recognizing that you've recognized they're going through it. And when they're ready, or if they're ready, they'll come and talk to you. That's where that egging in comes in of needing to satiate the anxiety that you could be feeling because they're not ready to talk about it.
Right.
So labeling is a tactic, not a strategy. In the same way, a spoon is a great tool for stirring soup, but it's not a recipe. For everybody who thinks that this podcast is the end all be all and the cure all for everything going on in your life, it is not. We have said multiple times that what we give you are tools. And I think that was the perfect way to say that. What we are giving you is the spoon. We are not giving you the recipe.
Right.
These are tools that you can do, that you can use to build your own and alter it to fit your life. You know, I never make a recipe online verbatim. Never. There are things that you don't enjoy tasting. There are things that I don't enjoy tasting, like cilantro. So I will add things and I'll take things away. It's the same outcome. We're going to have a burger. It's just suited to adapt to our taste buds. All right. So anger releases stress hormones, and stress hormones prepare the body for fight or flight. And neurochemicals, which is what I was talking about, like the adrenaline or the dopamine that's driving in its little car, the neurotransmitter, to go get received by a neuron in the brain. So it releases the stress hormones and neurochemicals that disrupts your ability to properly evaluate and respond to what is happening on the external world. It also blinds you to the fact that you're angry and provides a false sense of confidence. I know for a fact there has been a time where every single person watching this has been so mad without even talking to the other person. You're like, I know what I'm going to say. I'm fucking right. They need to hear it. They're in the wrong and they need to apologize to me. And until they ask me for an apology or to forgive them, it's not fucking happening. Nothing they say is going to fix this. Nothing that they say is going to make me think that what they did is okay. Fuck them. That is that false confidence.
It's also your ego.
Yes.
Because nobody owes you shit.
No, it's not.
Right.
I mean, you're right. No, they don't. Yes. Janae said stress chemicals release adrenaline and cortisol. I forgot to add cortisol to that.
Yep. Cortisol is actually the primary thing with fight or flight. And it's also why people who only sleep a few hours at nighttime, like they have high cortisol levels.
Yeah.
Yep. And melatonin actually suppresses cortisol, and then so does ashwagandha. And then together, like, best sleep I've ever gotten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not to say that negative feelings should be ignored. That can be just as damaging. Instead, they should be teased out. Labeling is a helpful tactic in de-escalating angry confrontations because it makes a person acknowledge their feelings rather than continuing to act out. So in our first, like, as a together couple argument lasted like 7 or 8 hours.
Yeah, it was a long fucking day.
And it wasn't even really an argument. We weren't screaming and yelling at each other. It was a disruption and a misunderstanding.
That's exactly what it was. It was a complete misunderstanding because you and I were arguing 2 different points the entire fucking day.
Right. So there was a point in that where I started raising my voice a little bit that I had no idea. And you were like, why are you yelling at me? You labeled it.
Yeah.
And it immediately drew me back in. That's exactly what that just said. When you are able to label something and someone genuinely doesn't recognize that that's what they're doing, they will immediately take a step back and be like, wow, what? Like, what did they just hit me with? They didn't yell at me. They didn't just try to attack me with anything that I said. They said, why are you yelling at me? And I don't know why I'm yelling at you. That is a really good tactic to implement.
Virginia said ashwagandha tincture changed a lot for me. You guys have to be careful with the ashwagandha thing. You're supposed to cycle that shit on and off. You can't stay on that for long durations of time. So like you want to do a month on, month off kind of thing if you take that. AJ said, I swear y'all are using a made up word to fuck with us. What is ashwagandha?
Isn't it a root?
It is a root.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can think that, or you can Google it. You almost spelled it right.
Ashwagandha is actually one of the things I have on my list to keep in my herbal cabinet once I start getting that going. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this is an example of labeling the negative thing that has happened to soften the blow of things. Once you're able to label, especially a wrongdoing, it makes the person less inclined to seek justice because they recognize that you already know you fucked up.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's just more of a conversation of how can we prevent this in the future.
That's what those conversations should be anyways. When you went on a minute ago and I was like, that's actually your ego. They need, because you were saying like they need to apologize. Nothing they can say is going to make this right. Even an apology is not going to make it right.
No.
And a lot of the time, the apology is coming from the fact that they fucked up. Or I'm sorry, that they got caught fucking up, not that they actually fucked up. Because if there was going to be remorse there, you know before you do something wrong how it's going to make you feel because you process it in the moment.
Correct.
And if you don't care in the moment, you don't care afterwards. So, and all of that is ego. All of it. Even the act of fucking up is the ego.
Thinking that you can get away with it and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Definitely is an act of ego. That really is an act of ego.
Yeah.
I cheated on the first time she didn't leave me, so I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. I know what I can get away with now. Me.
Yep. I called her a bitch and she didn't do anything but cried. I'm going to do it again. Wow. I knew I needed to call and massage him to straighten out the situation or I risked being expelled. So in this moment, he is visiting another country and didn't call the guy he was meeting up with to get the clearance to enter in that country until he was already standing there waiting to get clearance. And he was like, oh no, I fucked up.
Yeah.
So he called this guy and he was going to do everything he could to just kind of smooth the waters. Top guys like to feel on top and they don't want to be disrespected. All the more so when the office they run isn't a sexy assignment. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned, I said when he answered the phone. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. Who is this? He said. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned, I repeated. It's Chris Voss. Again, there was a long silence. Does your boss know you're here? I said he did and crossed my fingers. At this point, the FBI official would have been completely within his rights to tell me to leave Canada immediately. But by mentioning the negative dynamic, I knew I diffused it as much as I could and I had a chance. All right, you've got country clearance. Country clearance, he said. I'll take care of the paperwork.
So you mean by taking accountability in the moment, it changed the outcome of a situation?
Correct.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
It wasn't even, I'm so sorry, like I can't believe I dropped the ball on this. That's excuses.
Yeah, it is.
By saying, bless me, Father, for I have sinned, he's like, I fucked up and I got no excuse.
Yep.
At this point, you have all of the power. You can tell me to leave and I don't have an option.
Yep.
I got goosebumps in that accountability.
Own your shit. It's not hard. It's really not fucking hard.
It's really not. How many people do we have watching?
We hit 200, 207 currently.
Oh, wow. Thank you guys for being here. All right, I've found the phrase, look, I'm an asshole, to be an amazingly effective way to make problems go away. That is literally what we say when we can't think of any other way to say something that we think is going to come across in a positive way. So especially in the midst of like a disruption and we're emotional and we're trying to maintain civility while maintaining our emotional side of things, we will certainly say this is going to sound really dick.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any other way to say it, and it needs to be said to resolve what is happening.
Right. That's actually been code for us since that 8-hour argument.
Yeah, it has.
Because we couldn't get our point across, and finally that was like, look, if you need to say something, just preface it with, I'm about to be an asshole. I don't know how else to tell you this. And it works.
Yeah.
Because in that moment, I know you're not doing it to be a fuckface. You're doing it because you need to be able to get that point across.
Right.
And your words are failing you because you're frustrated. Sometimes being as blunt as possible is the easiest way to get the fucking point across.
I've also recognized there are times where I'll say something to you in asshole language, and you'll say it back to me in a way that could have been said in a way politely, but because I have never been spoken to that way, or I've never had the ability to have a conversation where I can say it, I literally don't have the words to articulate what I'm thinking. So in saying I'm about to be a real asshole right now and saying what you need to say and your partner being able to rephrase it in a way helps you guys navigate waters that you would otherwise not know how to. Good.
Yep.
Do you feel like I reiterated your point? Okay.
We got it. Covered all bases.
Okay. I'm trying hard not to do that thing where you say something and I just say the same thing.
No, you elaborated a little bit further.
Okay.
Technically, I did that because you said it.
Okay.
I reinstilled that because that conversation actually happened with us. So I was confirming your point, and then,
Okay.
yep, healthy conversation.
All right. This is another example from the book that he gave where labeling will help get to the root of the problem. So
Did he actually word it get to the root?
no, he did
Okay,
not.
okay, because that's our thing.
Right.
I didn't know if that was.
I don't know if he said verbatim get to the root, but that is what he alludes to throughout the whole book, is getting to the root of what is causing the problem.
Right.
He does say things like, what is the motivation behind the emotion or something like that. So in this scenario, it's about a grandfather who's super pissed off at Christmas. He's grumpy because he never sees the family and he feels left out. So he's speaking up in his own dysfunctional way to get attention. So in ways of just, everybody can tell he doesn't want to fucking be here. How do you fix that? Instead of addressing his grumpy behavior, you acknowledge his sadness in a non-judgmental way. You head him off before he can really get started. We don't really see each other all the time that often, you can say. It seems like you feel like we don't pay attention to you, and you only see us once a year, so why would you make time for us? Notice how that acknowledges the situation and labels his sadness. Here you can pause briefly, letting him recognize and appreciate your attempts to understand what he's feeling. And then turn the situation around by offering a positive solution. For us, this is a real treat. We want to hear what you have to talk about. We want to value this time with you because we feel left out of your life. Research shows that the best way to deal with negativity is to observe it without reaction and without judgment, then consciously label each negative feeling and replace it with a positive, compassionate, and solution-based thought. Every argument should be viewed as a disruption where you both are trying to find a solution to make everybody happy.
Wait, so you're saying that it's not healthy to throw emotions at each other and try to make the other person feel as shitty as you do in the moment?
Correct.
That's not conducive to, because that's revenge.
Right.
Right.
It's also not conducive to scream and yell at each other and then go off in separate directions and never talk about it again.
Because nothing's getting resolved.
Correct.
Before you move on, guys, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. We are on the stretch to 100,000. We're like 13,000 away. We are almost there. So if you are new to the channel and you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel yet, for the love of God, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, share the content, all that shit that YouTubers tell you to do, because it helps.
I just realized I'm like almost an hour past the point where I can go live.
Oh,
on
you're
TikTok.
not banned on TikTok anymore.
Yeah, let's go live, guys. I'm so stupid. Oh, you're restricting my free speech? Okay.
Amanda said, just joined in. Would y'all consider the topic of attachment styles? That's something that is on our list of
Yes.
things to discuss.
So
We've touched on it briefly, but it'll be an actual video.
this weekend, we are having like a 5 or 6 hour drive. That is going to be my time to dedicate myself to working ahead on the book breakdowns and choice theory. After I am about 2 to 3 weeks ahead on that, I'm going to start working on the attachment styles to get that done.
You know that all of our non-live stream content is recorded all the way into July.
Yeah, you told me that yesterday.
Yep.
That's dope. Alrighty. So the faster that you can disrupt the amygdala, I love that. The faster you can disrupt the amygdala's reaction to real or imaginary threats, the faster we can come to calm waters. So what's the amygdala? I've said that like 3 times now, maybe a couple more just because I like how it sounds. It is the main processing point for emotions like fear and anger. So what can trigger it is the fear or stress, the cortisol or adrenaline released during those little synapses. And as said, releases stress hormones, triggers by fear, anxiety, anger, or aggression. So that is the part of the brain it is the part of the brain, like on a brain scan, that lights up when someone has anxiety, aggression, anger, whatever is going on.
You just said that all comes from cortisol?
Cortisol or adrenaline.
Somebody in the chat a minute ago said that cortisol can actually become an addictive thing. I don't know who said that, but if that's the case, that explains why there's people in our lives that are so addicted to drama.
I believe that, yeah. That does make a lot of sense. Oh, damn. Clarissa's already on TikTok saying, hey, guys, go to YouTube. I love it. All right. So sometimes discussion will take hours. For people who need that instant gratification of the end of the argument, you're not going to leave me. Sometimes that's just not going to happen. That's why it's important during disruptions to reinforce that I love you. I don't want to talk to you this way. We're just problem solving right now. Yeah. If you're with somebody who needs that instant, we have to end this conversation so I can feel better, that person has to accept that you might need 20 or 30 minutes to process everything and calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
You also have to tell that person, I'm not thinking about leaving you. This is just a bump in our road. We're problem solving and I have to figure out how we're going to do this. It is not that hard on either side of that party to go, okay.
Yeah.
This isn't ending our relationship. This is just something that we have to unblock the road to keep driving. I like that. When there's a tree on the road and you can get out of the car and move that tree, you're going to do it. If you're lazy, you're just going to turn around and drive back the other way.
I got 4-wheel drive and going around that bitch or over it.
Either way, we are going to get past it. The point is getting over that tree or moving it or whatever you have to do. It's going to take time to do that. You're going to have to go on a detour. You're going to have to figure out how to get your car over it. You're going to have to get out and physically move it. Lazy people don't want to do that.
Right.
They'd rather just turn around and go back and not deal with anything.
It's not my job.
Oh, I hate that phrase. Not my job. You guys ever see that SpongeBob meme where he looks like a bird? That's what I got from that. Not my job. You're in a relationship. It is your job to make things in this relationship as smooth as possible and as peaceful as possible for both of you. And sometimes that means one of you is going to have to give a little bit more than the other one. And it's going to be reversed the other way. If you're in that mindset of, it's not my job, I want what I want, and they just have to deal with it, you should be single, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Bud.
Dude.
Homie. Brotilla.
Protein shake.
Potato
Brochacho.
chip. Did you say protein shake? Did you say protein shake?
I did. And then I said brochacho.
I like that. So like I said, sometimes the discussion will take hours, and that doesn't mean that you guys are yelling at each other or being degrading or disrespectful. It just means it's taking time to process the conversation. Because finding the root is like removing multiple layers of clothing. So if it's -3 degrees outside, you're not walking out in a tank top and shorts.
How long are we going to be outside? Because I like the cold weather.
We're going ice fishing.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
We're bundling up.
I don't like it that cold.
Right. I'm wearing like 4 different jackets. I have on leggings, sweatpants, like fleece, whatever, maybe 3 pairs of socks and some boots. When I get home, it's not just going to be all right, I'm taking it off. There's going to be a process.
Yeah.
It's probably going to take me 10 minutes to unravel myself because I get really frustrated when things get caught on my feet. So like there's that whole aggressive kicking before I actually just go.
I can see that starting in your brain without you actually having to do it.
So it's a process. Sometimes you have to go through the process to get the end result you want. You have to have the goal of finding the emotion driving the behavior. If you don't have the goal of figuring out what the root is, you're just instigating them to be more angry or more anxious or more upset. And that's dick.
No resolution.
All right. So this is going to be the last point, and then we're done for the chapter.
Sarah Faith said, I saw someone discuss that when her and her partner get home and they say that if they don't have 100% energy doesn't add up between the two of them, they have a conversation on how to be kind with each other.
I sent you that TikTok this morning.
I also sent it to the drive yesterday morning to react for our reaction channel, and it's part of that 20-minute video that I clipped together yesterday.
I love that we're on the same brain.
Yeah.
Brave line. Side blinded. So TikTok, I'm about to take a hit, and they banned me last time, so I'm just gonna.
Is that why you think you got banned? For your medicine? You gonna breathe at some point? Jesus, woman.
Yeah, they want me to just be a drone, so if anything helps me free think, they don't want that.
Yeah.
All right. Last point. This can't be the last point because there was something that I wrote down that wasn't addressed that I thought that was a really good point. How did I miss that? Okay, so I'm going to read this and then we're going to go back to the point because I found it. I don't want this to sound harsh, hoping that whatever comes next will be softened. So saying that to your partner. Or you'll say, I don't want to seem like an asshole, hoping your counterpart will tell you if a few sentences later that you're not that bad. What?
Somebody said, that tolerance though, you go, Peaches. I guess they heard the entire inhale.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about taking a tolerance break. Yeah. So pretty much it goes back to I'm about to be an asshole. And then you guys can problem solve on how to say something that's more polite or less dick. I really say dick weird.
You do. You're like the Paul Rudd meme.
Paul Rudd meme?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm back to the point that I wanted to make prior. So saying it seems like, it sounds like, it looks like. Those are things that you can say to somebody to label their emotions. And in reading that, I recognize that I do that with you a lot. And that was something that I started doing in the beginning of our relationship because you weren't really open to talking about what was going on with you. Would you say that in me doing that, labeling your emotions has kind of helped you feel more comfortable being vulnerable with me because I'm attuned to what's going on with you?
Nope. Nope. My vulnerability with you came with trust. You can label it all you want. If I don't trust you and I can't trust that you're not going to throw that shit in my face later,
Right.
there ain't no vulnerability. There's no reason for you to see that. Everybody wants an emotional person until they have to deal with somebody that actually shows their emotions and is emotionally intelligent. And then they don't know what to fucking do with it because they've never had people who are emotionally intelligent in their lives. This is a lot of learning between you and I to get to the point where I can be vulnerable with you and let all this shit out. A lot of trust, a lot of belief in where we're going in life. Like it's not, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Different mindset for me.
Well, have you ever noticed that I said things like it seems like you're frustrated or it seems you're agitated?
Yes, I noticed that.
You don't feel like I'm trying to tell you how you feel?
No.
It works.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of it. Chapter 3, we'll never split the difference.
I woke up this morning and there was a message in our group chat with the mods or the admin in Discord that was like, hey, we don't have a link for Never Split the Difference today. So when that pops up, can you... And I jumped up and ran to the computer with my, eye boogers in my eyes and no caffeine in my system trying to figure out what the fuck was going on. And until this morning, I had no Wednesday live set for the entire month. Wow. And had they not been on that this morning, I would have had to do it as we were going live.
Crazy.
I dropped the ball hard on that shit because I've been programming everything so far ahead. I've got all the choice theory figured out. Like I've got all of June done.
Just one thing you slipped up on.
Yeah, but it was every Wednesday for the next 4 weeks. So it was,
You fixed
it was
it.
technically 4 things, but. All right, let's read some super chats.
All
AJ,
right.
send the supers if you got them. Sarah Morgan, the amount of change I have seen in my relationship in the last month has been amazing. Thank you. If you're still in the chat, Sarah Morgan, tell me how it's changed. Nicole R sent us a $10 super chat, but she removed it later in the conversation. I saw that she removed it. She said you can keep the $10, but I changed the... Anyways.
Oh, okay.
Cerulean Firefly says online vape store I use is Element Vape. They have a pretty wide selection of vape stuff, not just Nick Vape accessories, though I use the nicotine things. Then we got another Cerulean Firefly for $20. It said, I love this morning and soon to be early afternoon entertainment and education. Bought BT earbuds just to listen while I mow and wander the garden so you guys can be in my ear.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, as always, for being awesome. She's a big supporter.
Yeah, she is.
Yep. Does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss with us?
Any questions? Oh, people popping over from TikTok. Heck yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we're almost at 300 now. We're at like 260 something.
So we are actually going live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. EST, guys. This is going to be a new thing going forward.
And we're getting new subscribers too, which is important. I know that I mentioned it a minute ago, but if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. We are on the hunt to 100,000. I want a YouTube play button so bad. Which one of you was the more emotionally intelligent when you guys first started dating?
I would say you.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Because you have more experience. There are situations that you've had to overcome and handle and process that I haven't.
I think I actually agree with you, but I think it's because I had to deep dive my borderline to understand my brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jessica Piotr said, I really like the book breakdowns being live. Why? Why do you like it being live? Josh Wolf said, I sent one, but for some reason it deleted it. I didn't see your super chat.
I'm really glad that you guys like the book breakdowns. I have a lot of fun doing it. I get to do research and learn things that I would never otherwise... I mean, I would read the book and research it anyway. But I love that you guys love it.
Yeah. Mary Steed sent us $2.99 with the rockin' hands. Hank Green's wife said, how can I balance having a career as a doctor but also be submissive and traditional? I don't know why everyone just looks at the submissive traditional aspect of things as being a stay-at-home. Because you can be a stay-at-home and not have traditional values or be submissive.
You know, so I would start looking at my work life totally separate from my home life. When I'm at work, I'm going to be the bad bitch and save lives and do the things that I need to do. And when I get home, my man's got it all. I don't have to worry about anything when I'm at home. You know, you don't have to implement the traditional values. You guys can still split household duties and whatnot. I really don't know how to break down the submission aspect without tying it in with my femininity. I feel more feminine when I am submissive to you. So, I don't know, one of the things that I do that I classify as being submissive, I initiate a lot of little touches with you. I will go out of my way to give you extra attention to make you feel loved or help you feel more loved. I don't know if a lot of people would classify that as a submission. That is something that I do view as, just because, like I said, I do go out of my way to initiate a lot of little, not saying you don't.
Right. Well, there's a lot of scorekeeping that can happen in that too,
Yeah.
for people who live that mindset. Well, if I'm always touching him and he's not touching me, why is that? Well, maybe the love languages are different. Maybe your
Right.
emotional needs are different. Maybe the way he views intimacy or she views intimacy is different. There's a whole lot of things that play into that. Not everybody sees the world the same. Like
Right.
nobody does. Do you think that, because you said that you feel like you are in your most feminine by being submissive to me.
Correct.
And we know that intimacy and the way a woman acts in a relationship comes down to the security and safety in the relationship. So knowing both of those things, if you didn't feel safe and secure in everything that we had, that submissiveness wouldn't come naturally to you in what we have, because you've never been like this with anyone else.
No, it wouldn't be. Our relationship would be very, very rocky. A lot of ups and downs. Being able to be submissive and feminine within my relationship and feel cradled, I am not... Oh, I totally just lost my train of thought. Ask me that question again, please.
I don't remember what I asked you.
We're a fucking mess.
Yeah, I started I'm going
know,
down a
it's just
whole rabbit hole
nonstop.
right now. The question was, how, as a doctor, can she be more submissive and traditional to her husband? How can
Okay.
she live that role? And because you were speaking and my brain started trying to answer the question, because I knew we were going to have to answer it.
Right.
When you lost your point and you said, I lost my point, my train derailed
Oh no.
and I lost all of my thoughts. So
back to her question. Rosemary really is supposed to help with memory.
yeah,
I'm going to start having to make rosemary tea for myself. This
Yeah.
is just absolutely ridiculous.
we have lion's mane in the cabinet.
Yeah. And before anybody says it's my vape pen, my memory was shit before I started doing
Yeah.
this. So,
I actually have a TBI. So the fact that I can remember anything is astonishing.
Yeah.
When it comes down to the being more submissive traditional, the traditional aspect is just, I view that more as taking care of each other.
Yeah.
I see that as a traditional way to live. The pink job's blue job is a gender role. You
Right.
can view that as traditional values and you can have that and still both of you work. I think that a lot of that comes down to being able to be in your feminine. I think that's the answer to that question. If you want to be that submissive traditional role in a male-female marriage, you need to be in your femininity when you're at home, and you need to allow him to lead, because that's how that looks to me.
I agree. I would say allowing, like, him leading is a big component into that. The reason that I am submissive to you and feel so in my femininity at home, when we go out into the world, I'm still feminine and submissive, but I do exude more of I'm the alpha bitch. I don't know how else to say that. I am fully aware when I walk into a room of women, I am one of the more combative ones. I would stand my ground, stand my opinion. I won't be a pushover.
But you've never
Less
been that way
intimidating.
to me
Correct.
in public either.
No, not towards you. So even in public, that's why I said I'm still submissive and feminine. I am just putting on that armor of, you're not going to fuck with me.
Yeah.
So at home, you leading is one of the big ones. And when we are out and about and at home, I am fully aware that no matter what, I am safe. I know that you would take a bullet for me. And knowing that helps me with my submission and being more willing to, when you say move to my right, I'm going to do that with no question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good moment for me.
Was it?
That gas station moment, yeah. Because when we got in the car, like, we were able to discuss what happened. But that's one of those things that are cemented in my memory, is
Yeah.
like, you really just trust my ability to defend and protect.
Has that happened for you before where it wasn't questioned?
Have not been. That was a very unique situation, because that doesn't happen very often. Like, you can call it whatever you want. Social stigmas. I know what I look like.
Yeah.
Normally, when people are with me, that situation doesn't evolve. I don't know if that dude was drunk. I don't know if he had drugs in the system, but he was a little bit too sure of himself.
Yeah.
It made me super fucking uncomfortable. Like, I don't feel like that very often. So I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I've had to actually do that.
Okay.
But Amanda Amanda Panda. I don't know. Every time he screenshots or copies a conversation, there's no separation from the last name to the first word. It's a run-on. So this says Amanda Pandani. Panda Annie.
Okay.
Any suggestions on rebuilding trust? It's been over a year since the betrayal, and things are improving with work, but curious if you had any thoughts on it.
I'm going to need to know what the betrayal is.
Right.
Did he eat your leftovers or did he go have intimate time with somebody else?
I think that ultimately what it comes down to is that kind of shit takes time.
It really does take time, yeah.
Trust is given freely in the beginning, and when that foundation is shattered, it takes a long fucking time to repair it.
I would say both parties need to have patience and grace with one another too, and understanding.
Yeah, I think that the what happened and what's being implemented since then would be helpful to know.
Yes, I agree with that too.
Josh Wolf for $10 said, first check-in with wife a month ago lasted close to 7.5 hours, but since we have gotten along a lot better. That's the second longest check-in that we've been notified of. First
the
one
longest one
was 9.
9 hours, yeah. I love that you guys are taking such an extended time to have these conversations because that first check-in shouldn't be 15 minutes.
No.
If you guys are really in trouble the way that you're saying you're in trouble, it should be at least an hour and a half.
Yeah, I say 2 to 3 hours for a first check-in is average.
Was that thunder?
I have no idea. Could have been a guy on a motorcycle because it didn't last very long. Okay. Richard Swanson said, wife and I polyamorous for 15 years, and we use similar communication that you two do. Awesome. Communication is universal. Doesn't matter what type of relationship you're in. You have to be able to talk to people. Casey said, I just wanted y'all to know that as a result of joining the Patreon and being active in the Discord and being pointed to the book list, specifically The Surrendered Wife, I have been able to realize and be accountable for limiting the trust I give and show my husband because of my own irrational fear.
I'm going to need you to repeat that.
How about I just do this?
Oh, yes, thank you. That was a lot. Okay. As a result of joining the Patreon and being active in Discord, being pointed to the book list. Okay, so these are 2 separate comments.
This.
Okay, so it ends there. So have you been accountable to him? If you're accountable with yourself, I mean, either way, that's fantastic. I love that that book has helped you, and it's helping you realize that you're having your own irrational fears that are bleeding into the relationship and could be causing issues. If you haven't told him that yet, that you're holding yourself accountable to those things, you really should.
Raina Lynch said, how do you implement the check-ins when your partner doesn't have the time to listen to the podcast? I've printed the check-ins list, but I'm nervous to start without him having an understanding. Well, you would explain to him the way that it works.
Correct.
But he has time to listen to the podcast. He's just making the decision not to do it.
He's making excuses not
right.
to.
The check-in podcast is literally a 51-minute episode. If you can't take the course of 7 days to listen a little bit at a time until it's finished, what you're telling me is that you don't care enough to actually implement the check-ins to make our lives better. You would rather just avoid the conversation because that's what that sounds like to me. How much time do you spend on your phone on the couch while you're watching TV? How much time do you spend playing games? How much time do you spend drinking? How much time do you spend on the back porch smoking a cigar?
Yeah.
How much time do you spend taking a shit? Because you poop every day. Hopefully you have enough, gestational shit going on down there that you're regular.
How long's your commute?
And even if you're regular at 5 to 10 minutes a pop, it only takes 5 days. Just pause it and pick it back up. There's no excuses for that. That's what that is to me. But you have the conversation. You just discuss it.
So people say there's weaponized incompetence. Would you say that's weaponized laziness?
I don't like the term weaponized anything.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think that's such a victim mentality.
Okay.
I really do. Your communication sucks. That's what it comes down to. Somebody doesn't care enough about you to do the things that you're asking them to do, or you're trying to control them and they're rebelling.
Yeah.
If you don't do the dishes the way that the person wants the dishes done, it's not weaponized incompetence. It's that they do things differently than you do because they're their own individual. They perceive that plate being a lot cleaner than you do, or you have a higher standard, or you don't fold the fucking towels the same way. I've folded the towels the way I folded towels for 42 years. And if it became a problem, there's going to be times that I forget to fold the fucking towels the way you want them folded.
Right.
And if you don't like it, fold the towels yourself or refold them.
Especially with you doing laundry maybe once every 4 months.
Right. It's not that I'm doing this shit. Do you really think that I would want to do something to have to hear you complain to me? No. I fucking promise you, no one wants to hear you complain to them.
Yeah. Not a good time.
Dea Vera, what is your favorite thing about submission?
My favorite thing about submission?
That's a good question. I would like to know.
Oh, man. It all boils down to the safety, I feel.
Elaborate.
So in every aspect of our life, I could say that I love the way it makes me feel. I love the femininity it brings me, but it all really just boils down to the safety of it, because without you providing the environment to cultivate me, it wouldn't be possible. It really wouldn't be. I could love the way it makes me feel. I can say that every day, but if the safety's not there, I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I would.
Right.
Make sense?
It does.
I could say that this is what I want with my life. If we were out in public and you weren't paying attention and a dude grabbed my ass and I came to you and you did absolutely nothing about it, I'd be like, damn, like, I'm not bringing you your plate anymore. Like, the respect's not there because you didn't show it to me. Yeah, I would say it's the safety aspect of it.
So in that situation, how far would you want me to go if someone grabbed your ass? Because I have no problem caving somebody's fucking skull in. But there's prison time that could come from that.
Right.
So where's the... Because I promise you, I have zero issue hurting people.
Well, my first thought is, well, I would want you to go over there and very aggressively grab his ass because of the way that you look. And be like, we want to play this game, buddy?
You want me to tell him I fuck people like you in prison? Because I'd do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll go over there and lick his ear. Bite his ear a little bit. How you like it?
Okay, yeah.
Grab his dick.
Don't grab his dick.
I'll do that shit too. I don't give a fuck.
I think walking
He'd be
over
like,
there...
what, you gay? Be like, what, you've never had your ass beat by a homo before? Like... I will take shit way further than it needs to go. I don't give a fuck.
I am very much, when it comes to like people groping, I want an eye for an eye on that shit. You want to make somebody uncomfortable? Let's make you uncomfortable, buddy.
Okay. Well, now I know.
So I would appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay.
Someone said I choked on my coffee.
Selena Diver said, in my relationship, I feel as if I'm not being heard. I've talked to him about how I'm feeling, and it just gets pushed aside. I don't know what to do.
Can you bring that over here so I can read it?
Here, wait, let me do this, because this is going to make my life easier.
Perfect. Okay. How are you approaching the conversations? All right, so Selena, I'm going to need you to email us. I'm about to rattle off a couple of questions for you. You might have to go back and read it, timestamp it, go back, anything you have to do. I need to know how you're approaching the conversations. I need to know how he's responding, how often you're trying to approach these conversations. And is this a repetitive thing? Like, is it you're depressed and you don't know what to do? And he's giving you suggestions and it just ends in, I'm depressed. So I need to know the context of what's happening and if it's a repetitive issue on the same point over and over again.
That's actually a really good point, because sometimes people just want to be heard, not solutions. Right. And men are solutions. And if we tell you how to fix it and you don't, and we tell you how to fix it and you don't, eventually we're going to stop telling you.
Right.
You're going to feel like you're being ignored. But if you go, hey, I just need to vent right now. Okay, you got my undivided attention. Have at it. That really sucks.
Yeah. I need you to empathize with me for a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Details matter. Jared from HR.
My manager's here, guys.
How do you develop a sense of independence? I have been in a serious relationship since I was 18. I'm 23 and have been single for 8 months. Collectively, as an adult, I feel like a lost dog.
Okay, wait.
This is a great fucking time to learn who you are as a person.
Have we released, I believe it's episode 11.5, the self-work. You need to go to, it's still labeled the side piece. There's a hair.
It's part of the side piece.
Jared from HR, you need to go to episode 11.5 of the side piece. And that's what you need to do right now. Once you figure out how to enjoy your own company, you're going to hate being around people. You need to have self-love. And that feeling like a lost dog is one of the shittiest feelings ever. Are we trying to be like a little whimpering Pomeranian who's been lost for 3 days? Or do we want to be the pit bull of the house that's walking around saying, I know what the fuck I'm doing?
Yeah. Yep. being from 18 to 23, that's 5 years of your adult life where you're still learning life.
Yeah.
I say it all the time that 15 to 25 for me was the worst 10 years of my fucking life.
Yes.
And
agree.
life has gotten better and better since then, but there's a lot of failure and self-discovery that has to happen in that time frame. So you feeling like that at 23 is actually pretty fucking normal.
It is, yeah. I would not want to relive that decade ever again. I really wouldn't.
Jared, you should probably look into our Patreon channel.
My septum is
Itchy?
Yeah, my ring keeps moving. Sorry, guys.
I'm not picking my nose, I'm adjusting my jewelry.
I am.
Jared, if you're not in Patreon, I would look into the Patreon Discord thing. There's a lot of good, valuable conversation that happens in the Discord, and there's almost 1,000 people in there at this point. Like it's really fucking doing its thing.
It is worth it. Someone should tag the Patreon in the chat.
They did.
Perfect.
You want to read that one?
How do you stay positive daily when your family is distributing?
I think they meant to say disturbing.
Okay. How do you stay positive daily when your family is disturbing your mental stability? Did you mean disrupting?
Maybe. She said
it's an everyday battle for me to get up in the morning.
That sounds like depression.
It does sound like depression. What is your self-care at right now? When was the last time you did something to yourself that made you feel accomplished or made you feel good about what you're doing?
And when you say family, do you mean like your mom and your dad, or do you mean like your husband or wife? Because that's a very different conversation. When I read this as somebody who still lives at home with their parents.
Yeah.
You don't get a choice when you live at home with your parents. You're living in their house. You have to deal with the bullshit that's there. And when you're sick of it, move the fuck out.
Yeah.
Live in your own house and wake up to silence in the morning. Wake up to the coffee maker going and that fucking smell of coffee, knowing that you're going to get some caffeine in you, some sweet, sweet caffeine, and you'll have an hour of silence before you have to do anything.
I'm going to pause you. Can we
what?
Coffee makers. I can time a coffee maker to make coffee for me in the mornings when I wake up. It's ready. Mm-hmm. Why don't we do this?
Because if I'm drinking coffee, it's pour overs. I'm bougie.
Okay, well, I would like a coffee maker, please.
Okay.
Fantastic. Would you like pour overs? Because I'll make you pour overs.
I have all that shit. My Connex and everything is in the cabinet above the microwave.
Do you want pour overs in the morning? No. Okay.
Because this is less pooping.
I would love a coffee maker. That's absolutely fantastic.
I actually had a subscription to Trade. Mm-hmm. I think it was Trade. It might have been Good. I don't remember the name of it. It was a coffee subscription box. And like you pick your blends and they send it to you and then you get to rate it. And if you like the blend, they send you more blends that are similar to that. So like you can fine tune your coffee. And at one point I had like 8 bags of coffee in there that were gross and like 30 bags that were really good because I don't drink it frequently enough.
Yeah.
And it got to the point that I ended up just giving all the coffee away because it just sat. I like coffee. I do, but I don't. It's got to be like, it's a process. This is grab, rinse, open.
Right.
That's heat your water, froth the milk,
yeah.
Do the pour over, let it sit, stir it.
Oh, you're super impatient.
Yeah, I don't have time for that shit. I could be editing right now. You know what I mean? Like there's so much shit that I could be doing that it takes during that 5 minutes of making coffee that could be dedicated to reaching success versus standing there staring at water drain through the fucking coffee.
I have recognized that there are at least 3 or 4 stories now where you're like, yeah, I was totally into this thing and I just gave it all away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because it's going to benefit other people.
Right.
I would rather other people enjoy it that I know than
I just think that's
the resale
not
aspect.
A funny thing about you. It's just a quirk about you. Like you'll go out and get super into something and be like, I fucking hate this. And not that you hated the coffee.
I feel so called out right now.
No, you're cute. I love it. It doesn't ever fuck up anything. It's like I said, a quirky thing you do.
How do I sign up for the mud group?
Mud group.
Love you guys.
We have a mud group?
Apparently. Or is this like mud wrestling?
Why do you say stop being bougie?
Because of my coffee drinking.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love that he roasts you sometimes. If we have a mud group, I would love to be a part of a mud group. There's a lot of benefits from mud. Oh, we're at 1.1 thousand on TikTok right now.
Yeah, you should tell me to go to YouTube.
I haven't done that. Hey guys, I love that you're here. As you've noticed, I'm not really paying much attention to what's going on in the chat over here. But we are currently live on YouTube. So if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, go ahead and jump on over there. It's more of just like a little window for you guys to observe.
So the answer to the person whether or not they were living at home says, I'm 25 and single, live alone, and family meaning grandparents, siblings, and parents. They rely on me because I'm dependable. It's an everyday thing.
I don't know. I'd be like, guys, I'm going on hiatus. Don't contact me.
Yeah.
I need a mental health break.
You guys have lived your life already. You should know how to deal with your shit. Mm-hmm. It's not my responsibility to make sure that you guys are taken care of. That's your job.
And you're all grown adults.
No one's coming to save you.
No.
You don't fucking owe anyone anything. You don't.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you owe somebody something, it's either because they really fucking did something for you and it's righteous. You truly owe them that, or they've guilted you into feeling that way.
Yeah.
I don't do that shit.
I am not shy when it comes to making sure that I'm okay. I will stop what I am doing and go take a bath or go take care of my plants if I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed.
Yeah.
And I will cut people off quick. You don't want to respect the fact that I'm going through it and I need to work on me? I'm going to block you for a little bit. You can have access when I give you access.
Yeah. Cora said, sorry, I meant men's.
Men's group.
So the men's group is probably going to be done at the end of this month and not rehashed. There will still be a men's group conversation channel in Discord, but I feel like I get emotionally invested in people a little bit too much and I have a hard time separating that. And when people don't follow through with expectations, it changes my view of this situation.
I agree with that. I think you do that too.
And it's very difficult for me to separate like this is a job and this is your life because I want to see you guys succeed. And when you don't follow through with what you're paying me for you to follow through with, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to continue the men's group. I may just do challenges for the month and offer live calls every once in a while and just not do that to that extent. But I also have thought about going a little deeper and actually offering mentoring, but at a higher cost so that people are not wasting my fucking time.
Yeah.
Because even at the $80 a month, you would think that would be enough for people to invest and like not throw away their $80, but it's happened.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not shitting on it. People's lives happen. You know what I mean? Like you can't always just do everything you want to do.
Right.
Glamour Craft said email sent from Hannah HK. Okay. Hannah K.
Mm-hmm.
Samantha for $50. Finally, a $50 super chat. Thank you so much for that. I want to say thank you to you both. Your advice, videos, experiences, expectations, and love for one another has inspired me to dive deep into what I want in life.
I love that.
And what do you want in life? I want to know. I want to know the details. All of them.
Yeah. And asking yourself that question, your whole life is about to change.
Yep. We got Tuva, I don't know what SEK is. I think that might be Swedish.
I have no idea.
I might be wrong. Sent some hearts. Spring Allison, this is another name that I'm starting to recognize more often. $20 watching every episode and taking notes. Can't wait to get into Discord. Thank you for everything that y'all do.
I love that.
I do too. You know, we talk about Patreon a lot, and every day I log into Patreon to see if we've gotten new followers or if we've gotten fall off. And every time I post regularly, we get fall off. And I don't know if it's because people don't realize that they never quit, or they get tired of me posting, or it's not getting the content they thought they were going to get, or whatever the case may be. We still have over 1,000 patrons.
I bet it's people going, oh, I thought I canceled that.
Right. And that's fine.
Yeah.
But the amount of people that have retained and that are active in Discord shows me that we actually have built a community where there is real value there. Mm-hmm. And I am excited for the content that's going to start coming out there. Like our vlogs are going up on Discord.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm going to do them regularly for YouTube. Every once in a while, I'll throw one up just to get some views. Mm-hmm. But putting them in Discord makes people engage with us.
Yeah, my vlogs are going to be strictly on Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else? Any questions that popped up?
I stopped looking at the chat over here.
Can I have the chat pulled back up?
I started looking at the window for AJ because super chats.
Thank you.
But we are still going. There's still a lot of people in here. We have 425 people in here right now.
Holy shit.
So with that being said, I'm going to take a pee break.
Okay.
You get the camera. You get to entertain people. All eyes on you.
The fuck? Oh man, I'm not prepared.
All eyes on me.
Well, Chris is leaving, guys, and I'm not trying to get banned on TikTok again, so gonna take a hit. Oh shit! Jared! Jared joined Patreon, guys. I'm so stoked to see you in the Discord, Jared. Amber Benally. What kind of advice are you looking for? Peaches, what plants do you have? I have a bunch of plants. I think I'm up to like 20 right now. Doing pretty okay. I'm up to almost like 5 dead at this point. But I think in the like median wise, the majority of my plants are doing really great. Ooh, how did you guys start your streaming and podcast? So we actually started on TikTok, and we started with our own individual TikToks, making stupid videos and whatnot. And then we started getting more into, we would come across a TikTok and be like, that's how you treat your spouse? Okay, wow. And I would give my opinion. And then Chris started doing the same thing, and we just started building a little bit of a following. And then we started making TikToks together. And I remember one of the first comments I saw was, holy shit, I follow him. I can't believe you guys are together. And then from there, we just kind of took off. People were fascinated by our relationship, and a lot of people were really hung up on the age gap of things. And then we started doing lives on TikTok. And then we went from getting like 9 or 10 people on the lives to 1,500 people on the lives, and people begged for a podcast. So we started a podcast, and now we're here.
And now we are here. So we have a couple questions that just came through.
Okay.
Jayla said, I love you guys. I want to be more submissive for my man, but I feel like I don't have enough energy to go above and beyond for him.
Read it again, please. Is there any way you could split screen it over here?
If you would like to not see your... No, I can't.
Okay. So I'm just going to have to really pay attention.
Hang on, gotta open it back up now. I want to be more submissive for my man, but I feel like I don't have enough energy to go above and beyond.
So you're burnt out?
Could be. Or you're making other things in your life a priority.
Definitely making other things other things in your life a priority. Your spouse should be one of your top priorities in life. And we've talked about always leaving that 20% in the tank for at the end of the day in case they want to have that intimate time or whatever.
Yeah. When you guys wake up in the morning, what does your day look like? Like, how do you prioritize your morning when you wake up? You can answer that in the chat. I'd like to scroll through that and see some of those answers. Dakota Davis sent a $10 super chat that said, hello. I just want to say that the two of you have been detrimental to serious change and growth in my relationship. And I am so thankful for you guys and all of your knowledge and hard truths. I love that.
I thought, did you say detrimental?
Detrimental.
I thought that meant bad.
No, detrimental is like substantial. Like it's important. Detrimental is not a bad thing. Detrimental could be like it's a word that expresses importance, urgency.
Okay.
Would you like me to define it?
That
properly?
would be awesome. Yeah. Thank you.
Tending to cause harm. I guess so. Well, that was the wrong word. You were right. I was wrong. Moving her could have had a detrimental effect for her health. So that's
okay.
Yep. Words matter. I was wrong. I took it as a urgency.
Right.
I took it well. Kylie Bentley said, what is the best way to communicate your feelings to your partner about what you're going through with postpartum?
Just as a general rule, you should read it twice.
You want me to slow down when I read it? You want me to say it slower?
No, I think you're going to have to say it twice.
What's the best way to communicate your feelings to your partner about what you're going through with postpartum?
Have them read postpartum articles.
Yeah. Yeah. I need you to understand
Data.
what's going on in my body right now. Read this.
And I'm not capable of explaining it to you. Let these people do it.
Yep. Yeah, I actually think that that's something that needs to be had, a conversation that needs to be had during the actual pregnancy before the baby's there. Because that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like to some extent. It may not be very bad, but it's going to happen to some extent.
Y'all should doomsday prep for that.
You need to understand the way the hormones are going to change after the baby's born. Like there's a lot that goes into that. That's why most relationships end in the first year of a baby being born. If they're going to end, if it's like already rocky kind of thing, because everything changes. The needs in the relationship change. There's another life taken care of. The finances get fucked up and the depression hits.
Yeah.
P. Muncie. What's something I could do to help my relationship? We are about to move in together after being long distance. Also love y'all. Want me to read a second time?
Yes, I do.
What's something I could do to help my relationship? We are about to move in together after being long distance. Also love y'all.
I feel like we've answered this before.
Yeah, I think that we have an entire podcast about it, an entire episode of the side piece about moving in. I think it's episode 13.
The only advice I can give you is that you think you know this person. You're not going to know this person until you live with them.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of things that are going to come to light for both of you. There's going to be a lot of realizations, a lot of I don't like that. It's going to be a very drastic change in both of your lives, and you're going to have to acclimate.
Dude, some of the things that people say.
What do you mean?
I'm a judgmental fuck, is what I mean. So I read shit and take it for face value.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, people's words should mean what they mean.
the way that my brain goes sometimes makes me a judgmental fuckface.
Yeah.
Amber Bellamy said, Benelli?
Yes, I asked her to elaborate on something.
My boyfriend came across a scam post that had one of my old pictures and one recent explicit picture that I sent to my boyfriend. I don't have any social media at all, and he's placing blame on me, accusing me of sending. I'm not sure how to cope or handle the situation. He doesn't believe... Here, I'm not doing this.
I don't understand. He received a spam post?
There. That way I can look over here while you do that.
Does somebody have access to either of your iClouds?
You know how easy it is to take a picture off the internet of somebody and create a new account? People do it all the time.
Right, but if she sent it to him and this was never posted on social media and it's only on their phones and iClouds, if somebody has access to any of those things, that could have been that, or he's posting shit.
Or sending it to other people.
Yeah.
Trying to get back to where people were saying what their morning looks like.
Okay, I'm going to read a super chat.
Okay.
$20 from Kyle. I just want to thank you all for the mental and physical motivation to get through my workday and be a better man. I listen to your podcast daily. I started my own business doing contracting work a year ago. Best decision ever. I love, Kyle, that you listen to us daily. And there are thousands of people like you who listen to us daily, and that's just insane to me.
How does our podcast correlate to the business opening? I'm confused.
No, he's just saying I started my business a year ago, and it was the best thing he's ever done.
Yeah. Yeah, being a business owner, there's a freedom there. There's a stress there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of, oh God, it's my responsibility for fucking everything that comes along with it now. But that shit goes a long way. Anyways, do you guys, if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, there's 400 people in here now since the last time I've said that it's gone up by 200 people. So with that being said, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 100,000. We want the YouTube play button.
We're so close.
We are. Dude, we're like 14,000 away.
I'm going to say it again. I think this is just going to be the thing that I call you guys. You're the little bees of the podcast. You're pollinating it. You're sending it to people and it's spreading and people are flourishing and getting nourished and
yeah.
I'm here for it. My little bees. Don't replace that with the chickens, though. I like you guys being the little chickens. That vision's funny for me.
Nothing.
Can I go back to seeing the YouTube chat?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm going to just minimize this window so that we can...
All right, so we are back up to 1,000. Oh, 1.1 on TikTok. Guys, if you want to be a part of the conversation, we are currently live on YouTube. That is where we are getting comments from, answering questions. I am not reading the chat here, so if you want to be a part of it, head on there. This is more of just for you guys to observe what we're doing, see what's going on. And I love that you're all here. Go to YouTube.
AJ, if you can, please try to keep the comments coming into the chat, dude. I have to ignore the chat screen.
Getting frustrated.
It's too much. I'm starting to get overstimulated, but I can't. I don't want to ignore the conversations that are coming in.
Yeah.
But relevant questions that we can actually answer need to come into the chat, like the private chat, because I don't want to. Okay. Am I wrong for being upset at my partner for straddling my boundary?
Straddling, like on the threshold of
That
crossing
says
it?
straddling my. That's a very specific word. So
is a
for
very
straddling
specific-
my boundary, even if she hasn't crossed it, and how can I communicate that to her efficiently?
So she's like pushing your buttons and testing the waters.
Why would you feel like you're wrong for being upset? That's the first question in that.
Yeah.
Has something happened in your life that you have been told that your feelings are not valid? Because your feelings are valid. The way that you feel about shit matters. It's a fucking alert system that tells you how you should proceed. This makes me feel bad. I should not do that. This makes me feel really good. I should do a lot of that.
Yeah.
So if somebody's told you that your feelings don't matter, or you're overreacting, or they're playing that game with you, that's something that you need to address separately from everything else. Somebody fucking with your boundaries or towing the line of acceptable or unacceptable is letting you know that they're trying to push that boundary back to see how far you're willing to go. If they're towing that line and you don't address the issue, they go, okay, well, I
They
realize
didn't say anything.
I can go a little bit further. They may not say nothing, or they're not going to do anything about it. So if I go a little bit further next time and then a little bit further after that, eventually your boundaries are irrelevant.
Yeah. That's how people start asking, how did we even get here?
Yeah. Yep. 2 inches at a time.
Yep.
And then as for how can I communicate that better to her efficiently, start check-ins.
Yes.
And during the check-in, be like, hey, this is one of my boundaries. You're aware that this is one of my boundaries, and you've been towing that line, and it makes me uncomfortable. Like, I'm not okay with the way it makes me feel. I don't enjoy feeling this way. So moving forward, could you not do that anymore?
Right.
And then if she's like, no, I'm going to do it anyways, you know where you fucking stand. It's not, and that's not a control thing. That's
It's
letting
really-
your partner know where you're at mentally and expecting them to take care of that. I would do the same thing.
Yeah. It's called a standard to be in my life.
Yeah. Yep. You're setting a standard. That's exactly right, babe. Paige Witt for $10 said, I've been listening daily for 2 weeks now, and I've implemented some of the things you've said into my own life and marriage to help my marriage. And holy cow, communication is better than ever.
I love that.
Yep.
I love hearing people's communication improving.
Yep. How would you say to fix a relationship with no trust?
Depends on what trust was broken.
I am a loyal wife, and he always accuses me of cheating when all I do is work and take care of the home. I'm going to say some real unpopular shit. I'm willing to bet that there's infidelity on his behalf, or he would not be accusing you of doing that shit constantly.
And it doesn't have to be physical cheating.
Right. There's something going on in his life that is not okay, and he's projecting that shit. Every single time somebody's like, they always accuse me of cheating, and then I found out he was the one doing it.
Especially if this is a new development in the relationship.
Right.
If he was cheated on prior and that was never an issue, yeah, there's a catalyst for that.
I would ask him why he feels like you're always cheating on him. What is it that you're doing? That's also a form of control and could lead to abuse.
It could. I think you're cheating on me. You're not allowed to leave the house by yourself anymore.
Right. Let me go check your odometer. If you're going to the store, I know how fucking far the store is. Like that's scary shit when you really look at that. Mary Steed sent us $1. Didn't say anything, just sent us $1. Thank you for that. Sandra said, how can I move forward after my husband was having a flirty texting conversation with a coworker? My mind keeps replaying the situation in my head. Thanks. Well, one, that's cheating.
Read that again, please.
How can I move forward after my husband was having a flirty text conversation with a coworker? My mind keeps replaying the situation in my head.
Ask yourself, do you want to move forward? And then I would ask him, why would you do this? Do you feel like you're not getting your needs fulfilled in our marriage?
Yep. What's going on with the intimacy in your relationship?
Yeah.
There is he attention starved? There's a whole lot of questions that fall into those things. As for the moving forward part, if you've already had all those discussions, because the question is how do I move forward? You should have an open phone policy. Not that matters, because if the coworker knows he's at work, you can just delete the shit before he comes home. You'll never know it's there.
Yeah.
People who want to do fucked up things are going to do it. That's all there is to it.
Are you moving on to another point?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, were you continuing your point? I keep seeing people saying he's gaslighting her, we gaslighting her. We don't use that term here. We directly address things. So, for example, the gentleman accusing his wife of cheating, we addressed it. So if it's a new development, that's a problem. If it was never an issue prior, like he has trauma from being cheated on, that's a red flag. He's not gaslighting her. There's a catalyst for the fact that he's accusing her of it, and we have to find the root of what that is.
Right. If you can't have a conversation without buzzwords anyways, that's a problem.
Right.
And look up the definition of gaslighting, because what that scenario is not actually gaslighting.
No, it's more of a manipulation.
We read
Yeah.
examples of gaslighting from Google, from a psychology website.
Yeah.
And that is not gaslighting.
And it's more of just a bunch of individual things blanketed together and say,
Right.
These kind of coincide and they go together, but
I really don't like buzzwords.
I don't either. Yeah.
Say it with your chest and be fucking definitive. Because when you say words like gaslighting, it can be taken a number of ways. And now you're having a conversation where two people are having two different definitions and you're not having the same conversation.
Right. Just when we Googled it, there was 5 or 6 different.
Yeah.
So it could mean this, it could mean this, it could mean that. So when you're using a blanket statement like that, you're not looking for the root of the problem. You're just trying to, in my mind, it instigates it because you're not directly attacking. What you're doing is you're telling me I'm crazy, I'm not, and I have witnesses of what happened.
That was actually one of the definitions of gaslighting.
It was, yeah.
Butter Bunny for $5 says, "What does a man leading look like in a marriage to y'all? I cook and clean. I manage finances. I feel like I make most decisions. We both work. Female 24, male 35. This is definitely a you question.
So everything you're doing, my man does. I mean, minus the cooking and the cleaning. You handle finances. You're the final decision maker. That is something I can certainly do, but that would take away the dynamic that we have. I'm no longer the submissive wife in the relationship. In my views, I would be stepping up because you're kind of slacking as my husband.
Yeah, it sounds to me like she's not in a submissive situation at all there.
I agree.
It doesn't sound like he's leading at all. Being simply providing and protecting is not enough. Managing the finances can look different to different people. Some people just don't do well with money. There are people out there that really cannot fucking budget their money. And if the man is not that guy and the woman needs to step in and do that, then that's fine.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he's not capable of leading. He can still make really good decisions for the family and like thrive while she handles the finances, because that's a weakness for him. And that's what marriage looks like.
Yeah.
That's teamwork. If I have a weakness or a shortcoming and your strong suit is that, and you take that over, that's not a lack of leadership. That's playing to our strength, right? And securing a win.
Yeah.
To me, leadership in a marriage from a man looks like provision, providing, being emotionally available to the wife and kids, being present with the children, having the emotional maturity to have proper communication instead of flying off the handle when things go wrong. You are supposed to lead by example. There's a difference between being a boss and a leader.
Right.
You should be a leader of your house. Dakota Davis said, I have a question that I believe was previously touched on in a podcast, but what are specific ways you find to be each other's peace? I ask in the sense of having a partner that is anti-people.
When you're going through it, I don't bring bullshit to you. When you tell me that you're processing or you don't understand what's going on with you, either you want to talk about it and you initiate those conversations, or I just wait until you're ready. I don't egg and I don't push and I don't, you need to tell me what's going on now.
Right.
There is no sense of, so within our marriage, there is that sense of ownership, as in I am your wife and you're my husband. There's that ownership. Outside of that, though, we understand that we are individual people. So there is no ownership and you owe me an explanation to what you're going through right now.
She said that in the sense of having a partner that is anti-people. I'm anti-touch. I don't want anybody fucking touching me other than you.
Right.
So the idea of being anti-people, if they're with you, they're not anti-people. They're anti-everyone else. You're not anti-anything with the person you're with. That's not how that works.
Right.
I really think that being each other's piece is being the crutch.
Correct.
Pick up the slack. Do the teamwork. Make sure that you guys live as one. You don't keep score, because that's you're creating division in the home when you do that. Learn how to talk to each other and have proper communication. Don't scream and yell. Get to the root of things very quickly. Don't say mean, manipulative things. Like you want to make sure that your home is the most perfect sanctuary on the fucking planet, and you are sharing that home with another human being.
Yeah.
You guys have to learn to work together to make that be that sanctuary for you. That's what I take being the peace means.
Yeah.
You don't ever bring bullshit to my doorstep.
No.
Even when you're having issues with our relationship or our marriage and like issues with me directly, it's not from a place of fuck you or hate. It is a conversation of how do we fix this is the problem.
Yeah.
It's not you did this and I feel like this. We have conversations to get to the root and move past it. It's not arguments.
And it's because I actually like you.
Yeah, we have a good relationship.
I want to be with you. I want to have longevity with our relationship. I want you to be the last person I'm with for the rest of my life.
Right. And we work for that.
We do work for that. And a lot of people lose sight in that because, oh, they did me dirty.
Yeah.
I can't believe they would have done this. They knew that I wouldn't have liked this.
That selfishness is something to think about too, because everyone has it. That's narcissism. By definition, it's a selfishness. Everyone has a degree of narcissism to who they are as a person. We would not survive as a species without it. Sometimes people do shit without thinking about the other person because in the moment they're very focused on what's happening. I'll fill them in later. And then they do it, not thinking this could be a real fucking problem for them later. I just, in the moment, think this is the best thing, and they make the decision and have to deal with the consequences later.
Right.
It's not always done as a slight. Sometimes it is just an oversight, but the other person may feel like it's a slight, and then it can make it a big fucking issue instead of going, hey, I just want to let you know that it did make me feel like this. I understand that you made the decision, and I will stand by your decision. But next time, please take me into consideration because I'm not okay with this.
Yeah.
That's a very different situation than I can't fucking believe you did that. You know what I mean?
I have an example.
Okay.
So, say a wife's at work, husband's home, it's his day off, the house catches on fire. He has time to grab the photo album or her wedding dress. That is a split-second decision that he has to decide on what he's going to present to his wife that he could save that's valuable to her. You're not going to be mad at that man, are you?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
I like that you take things to extremes like that.
Yeah.
Because it puts things in perspective. How do I handle/explain things when my girlfriend says I'm not listening, even though I'm listening and understanding, but understanding does not change my feelings, desires, needs, wants, etc. This sounds like she says you're not listening. So repeat it back to her. Make sure that she knows that you understand what she's saying.
Right.
And then address your concerns because you don't have to agree.
Correct. What I got from that is that she's trying to
make him understand and follow suit.
Right, like you have your opinion, but mine's right, so you need to agree with me. That's not okay.
I agree. Cheyenne said, I have a happy question. Chris, comma, it's about to be our 10-year anniversary. Ideas for a meaningful gift idea. I'm at a loss. There's actually
like dedicated
anniversary dedicated gifts. But why don't you renew your vows? A decade is a long time.
That is a good one, yeah. Renew vows.
Yep. You maybe go on a honeymoon that you never took, or go on a vacation and make a memory that you otherwise would not make. I don't do the gift thing. I buy the shit that I want. I buy you the shit you want. We don't wait till there's a special occasion because it's not special when somebody tells you have to do it.
Right.
Make memories. Make fucking memories.
I'd rather you take me to a trip to Japan.
Yeah.
Versus buying me like a $3,000 piece of jewelry.
Margaret said, for $5, no trust equals no relationship. Married 30 years. Congrats on 30 years. You've done more than a life sentence.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking commitment and a lot of work. And when you read things like that, married 30 years, everybody goes, oh, congratulations. No one ever goes, I see you.
Yeah.
I know the hard work that you put in to get where you are. You're a badass.
Yep.
Yeah, Margaret, you're a badass.
I can't wait to say that we've been married for longer than a life sentence.
Yeah. Yeah. Carlin Cross for $20. What's your advice if I got broken up with and the reason he said were things I said from the beginning 2.5 years ago? But yet I've made the most positive change, but because he pays the rent, I'm wrong.
Nah, he fucked up. If he had a problem with something that happened 2 years ago and he broke up with you because it was 2 years ago, I don't know. That's portraying a lie for 2 years. There's this false sense of acceptance and I'm over it. What?
I don't understand that at all.
What do you mean?
But yet I've made the most positive change, but because he pays the rent, I'm wrong.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Well, the beginning of this too. First, so let's break this down.
Okay.
What's your advice if I got broken up with? Move on.
Move on, yeah.
The reason he said were things I said from the beginning. Doesn't matter. The relationship's over.
Right.
So holding on to the hows and whys is irrelevant. Move on. But yet I've made the most positive change. Dope. That's the way it should be.
That's growth.
You have to work on you and hope other people can keep soup. And if not, fuck them. Be the best you can be and find somebody that can maintain that. But because he pays the rent, I'm wrong. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Just because somebody pays the bills doesn't mean that they get to fucking run the house.
Could you imagine? I mean, it does happen. I have money, so I'm right. I mean, that does happen in today's society.
Yeah, it's because people are fucking dumb.
But that's just, what a ludicrous thought process.
Yep. Obviously there's a whole lot. They only get 150 characters.
Right.
So there's a whole lot they can't say. Spring Allison for $5. Again, this is a name that I'm getting used to seeing.
Yeah.
Peaches, is it too late or are there requirements such as being married to get in or be a part of the women's group?
So I'm going to answer that. I just saw AJ said, all I saw from him is about as much control as juggling flaming pins. And I kind of not imagine what this is like for AJ and the mods in this right now.
I have no idea what you're even talking about.
The chat on YouTube. Like he's going through and getting questions. It's moving so quickly.
Yeah.
So back to that, there's no requirements to be in the women's group. The only thing is it's first come, first serve.
Yeah.
If you don't make it in time, you're going to have to wait until the next round.
I really wish that the men's group would have played out differently.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a me thing. Like, I don't know if I dropped the ball there. I don't know if I had too high of expectations. I really don't. Mm-hmm. But I really hope that you get what you're expecting to get out of this women's group, because when you have accountability with groups of people like that, people thrive.
Yeah.
One tiny hippo. All I can picture in my head is a baby hippo.
I love baby hippos.
$20. You both have given me so much hope for strength through everything via honest communication, despite mental health challenges. Thank you for all that you do for so many people.
You're welcome.
That was a good one to read.
That was a good one.
Katie Scott, how do you know it's truly over? We've been together for 7 years, not married, and I don't feel like myself and the kids are the priority.
You know when it's over.
Yeah. You're not married. Mm-hmm. It's been 7 years. Why are you not married after 7 years? That says a lot.
Yeah. If you're asking people, when do I know it's over?
Yeah.
You have your answer.
Yeah, I agree with that. You should always be the priority to your partner. Mm-hmm. I understand, like we've talked at length, like you put your partner first. And people always hit me with the job thing. Well, what about your job? Would you put your job over your partner? Well, it depends on what my job is. If I can get a job somewhere else, no, because I can just get another job. Mm-hmm. If I'm in a very specialty thing or I'm a business owner, that's a different scenario, because my provision as a husband is part of my husband responsibilities.
Right.
And if I am not providing for you and protecting you and leading the household the way I'm supposed to be doing, I am failing as a husband and you are no longer a priority.
Correct.
My wants and needs are a priority at that point over yours. Mm-hmm. So in that scenario, that priority is important. You know, if you were like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with the way that you're talking to this chick on social media, I got you. Unfollow, unfriend, unlike, fuck off.
There was a chick in the women's group. She recognized that her job was causing issues in her relationship and she quit like 2 days later.
Yeah.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Stevie for $5 said, how should I respond when I bring up a concern and get told you're making things up to fight? But when they have a problem, it's relationship ending. Sounds like mental illness to me.
Well, what are the problems you're bringing up if you're constantly harping on you're putting the forks away wrong?
Yeah.
I would need more information on that.
Are you bringing up a concern in a way that can be perceived as combative? Mm-hmm. Because that matters. How you address things matter.
The way you word yourself matters.
Right. If you're like, hey, you left a dish in the sink and there's food on it, can you go rinse that off? Mm-hmm. You're going to get a different response from me than you would be if you're like, I fucking told you not to do that anymore. Why are you always doing that?
Yeah. Hitting them with, you always do this, when they're unaware of the behavior.
Yeah.
Or you've mentioned it once. I'd be like, okay, damn, you think I'm going to do that now?
Yeah.
No. I'm petty.
Yeah. Always and never are actually words that are used to manipulate. Mm-hmm. So, Trevor with a B said, I wish more people thought the way y'all do when relationships are building up. I think a lot of people do. I think that they're just not strong enough mentally to handle the work that's got to get put into it. We live in a disposable world. Everything is it doesn't work anymore. Buy a new one. New iPhone came out this year. Go buy the new iPhone. Microwave doesn't work. Go get a new microwave. Vacuum stopped working. Go get a new vacuum. People don't repair shit anymore.
They
The
really
idea
don't.
of fixing something, it seems like a whole lot of work. So why bother fixing it when you can throw it away and go get a new one? Doesn't matter that there was an emotional attachment to that old vacuum that your grandparents owned that worked for fucking 60 years and the part's $13 and would take you 45 minutes to fix it. Just throw it away. Go get a new one. Any advice for creating safe space after betrayal? Define safe space, because I hate that fucking term.
I hate that term too. Your relationship should always be a safe space, and if
Right.
you've shattered that, that's on you. You know the situation, you know the specifics, and really the only way to figure this out is to talk to your partner and find out what they need to make this work, or if they're even willing to make this work.
Not addressing this person's comment, but when I hear the word safe space, it makes me think of like the ultimate frailty in terms of humanity.
I agree. I'm envisioning like a massively padded room with somebody with thousands of pillows wrapped around them, like
Crying.
a fucking bubble kid. Yeah.
Yep. AJ said, "What's for lunch?"
I don't know. I'm kind of craving Indian food.
Yeah, I don't. I could do Japanese. Some sweet and sour chicken.
I could fuck up some sweet and sour chicken.
Do you want to order that?
Yes, Daddy. Sorry, TikTok. I gotta get rid of you guys. I gotta figure out lunch.
Go to YouTube.
So, almost 1,000 of you, I'm gonna end this live now. Go to the YouTube channel. We are live on YouTube. The number 2 Be Better. We are currently still actively responding to you guys and interacting. I would love to see y'all over there. Thanks for coming to hang out.
Brent Boyd for $10 said, "I just started watching your podcast while I'm at work for 10 hours a day. I have
10
made it to
hours.
episode 12 and have learned so much from you two." That's dedication.
I love that. You guys, I see our mods in the chat repeating themselves in all caps. Please pay attention to what they're saying. I would appreciate that.
Dakota Davis said, "I'm off for the day. I have to get to work, but wanted to say thank you for answering my questions and all the kindness you guys give. Have a great day," for $4.99.
Have a good day, man.
And I don't have anything else here. So while I wait for AJ to send some more shit through, I want to address something.
Okay.
As we just had another one. I'll get to the super chat in a second. Somebody commented on our Instagram, I think. It might have been on YouTube or TikTok, but they said, "Why does he always seem so angry about me?" And that falls back into the safe spaces thing. People have become so weak that my passion and my directness is viewed as hostility.
Yeah. It's
And
also a bias.
You've also seen me kind of start to get frustrated.
Oh, I've seen you.
You've actually seen me angry.
I have seen you angry, yeah.
But that version of me and what people see of me on the internet is not the same
Oh, those
thing.
are 2 totally different things.
Those people that feel that way, if they were to see that actual side of me, would probably break down and cry.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Why is it that we have gotten to the point where we are no longer allowed to just be honest and unabashed with people and speak clearly instead of trying to sugarcoat everything?
Because people are too afraid to face their own emotions and understand why they're feeling them. They'd rather just be catered to and never have to deal with the hurt. People are scared of being hurt. They're scared of that negative emotion. I'm not scared of my negative emotions anymore. When we have a disruption, I definitely am in fight or flight and I want it to end. I know the only way to get through it is to go through it, though.
Right. Well, you're always going to get stronger on the other side.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Roxanne Watts for $2 said he had an affair and I'm afraid to be open. She was the one that was asking about a safe space after betrayal. How long ago was the affair? And that's normal. The
Yeah.
idea of being recluse while making him re-earn your trust, that's normal. Like
Oh, I'm sorry.
you should never just give that back. It needs to be earned. Is that what you were going to say?
It's akin to what I would say. I would very much expect you to recluse. You would not have immediate access to me the way you did before I found out about the affair.
Right. Yeah, you made a choice.
Yeah.
You showed me where I am in the priority of your life.
You're going to be dating my ass again. Show me that I'm what you want.
We read earlier, how should I respond when I bring up a concern and get told you're always making things up to fight? We got another super chat from her, and
Okay.
it said, I asked him to stop drinking because he'd get violent.
Are you kidding me? And he's saying that you're making things. Why are you in this relationship if that's how he speaks to you?
If you are in a relationship with somebody who gets drunk and gets violent anyways, you are not in a safe scenario.
You're really not.
Yeah.
I'm amazed growing up that I didn't see someone get killed from an abusive alcoholic. Mm-hmm. Don't take this lightly. If you are able to walk away now and he genuinely doesn't care that he's violent with you when he's drunk, he is not going to care putting his hands on you. He's not going to care throwing you against the wall and breaking your bones.
Yeah. Those things will always escalate. And so if you approach that and they are like, you're just making things up to fight and he's sober, be like, no, I'm telling you that I'm afraid for my safety when you drink. And if you are choosing alcohol over me, knowing that I am afraid of you when you drink, you're telling me everything I need to know. This isn't an argument. This is me telling you that my safety is a concern. And if this isn't resolved, I'm not going to stay here.
Yeah. And if you choose to stay after that conversation, I have nothing to tell you. Yeah. I would not stay in that.
We got a $2 super chat that said, excited I fixed my own vacuum the other day.
Hell yeah, dude.
I love that.
Love that.
Trevor with a B said, I listen to y'all because it makes me think and work out in my own head how I can be better. Ironically enough, Trevor with a B.
Trevor.
we also do that. When we
that.
read these emails, we problem solve, and it helps us address things in the future of how we are going to work through things if we ever find ourselves walking through that mud.
So actually ordering this food, the thought of eating chicken is making me nauseous, so I'm just going to order it for you.
Okay. You going to do Indian food?
Would that be okay?
I don't give a shit. I went to the bank this morning, so.
Okay.
Heather said for $20, how do you...
Do you want pork buns?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. How do you deal with a husband who wasn't there for you physically or mentally when you were assaulted by a friend of his and he continued to stay friends with him? Holy shit. Do you know how bad that would go for somebody? Like,
especially someone you know who you trust?
Yeah, I would stick a knife behind their kneecap.
Yeah.
Attach a jumper cable to it. Yeah, we're going to have some problems.
Don't think about it.
Oh, I am.
Don't.
I am. I could really go down that rabbit hole.
You're going to make yourself angry.
That's not a deal with situation. Your husband should make sure that your safety is a priority. Period. Fucking period. That is your first role as a husband and as a father. Number one duty, protect. Physically or mentally assaulted. I'm sorry, that wasn't there for you physically or mentally when you were assaulted by a friend of his. You get a ball peen hammer, knock all their teeth out one by one. You think twice about doing that again? Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you? I don't believe you. I have no problem.
I know.
Dude, that did make me sweaty.
I know. That's why I was like, don't think about it. You're going to make yourself mad.
Jessica said, I love the sentiment of taking your husband's boots off for him when he gets home from work. Is there some other version of that I could do for my man who doesn't work in boots or have a job like that? Taking the boots off can just be viewed as a metaphor. It is an act of service. You can make him his plate and bring it to him first.
Warm up his towel before he gets out of the shower.
Yeah. Have his favorite glass of whiskey out when he gets home, or scotch or whatever it is he drinks.
Make sure his favorite pair of underwear are clean.
Yeah, that shit goes a long way. That is more of the actual act of taking the boots off for me. When you do that, is you basically showing me that in the moment you recognize how much fucking work I do and what I provide to the house, and you just want to make my life a little bit easier. It goes a long fucking way. There's a recognition there. Like, I get to actually relax for a minute. I don't have to listen about the problems of the day. I don't have to worry about what the kids are doing. I don't want to, your family doesn't matter right now. My family doesn't matter right now. I get 5 minutes to just decompress.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. Brent Boyd, $10. How do I keep my wife happy when she is upset about me taking my son to see my brother? My brother and her don't talk to each other from previous situations. I need more information on that.
Right. Was he verbally abusive to her? Did he degrade her?
Yeah, there's something going on that makes her not want that to be a thing.
Yeah, especially with a child involved.
Yeah, I need more there. Stevie, I have to scroll back up to find the original comment. Was the drunk person. She said they broke up last year. So she's not in an unsafe environment. I'm glad that you broke up last year over it. You guys don't put yourself in positions where people can harm you like that. Roxanne sent another $2, said he had multiple affairs over 14 years, just came out.
All right. So apparently we are receiving a lot of emails right now. and the mods keep spamming it in the chat. I want to clarify, we will not read your email if it includes any SA, DV, or child abuse.
Yep.
It will be filtered into a spam folder, and it will not be graced by our eyes.
It will get rejected. And it doesn't matter if you're a patron. If the shit's in the email, we're not reading it. Carrie for $4.99.
Before you continue, and I want to clarify, it's because we are not equipped to help you in those situations. Not only is it mentally taxing for us, all we're going to do is that sucks.
Yeah.
We do not have the tools to help you in those very extreme situations. You need to find people who are specialized in helping you in that.
Right. Here's a thought. Put the disclaimer in the chat, guys. If you're a mod and you can ! Disclaimer. We're not professionals.
We are not.
We're given opinions, and I'm not going to take that mental load on of hearing your kid being abused because you don't want to talk to a therapist or you don't want to leave the abusive person. I'm just not. So Carrie for $4.99 said, love you guys. I've been listening to all of your podcasts on Spotify. You guys have enriched not only my life, but my husband's life. We are thankful with a little heart.
I love that.
We almost didn't do the actual podcast on the streaming podcast services.
Yeah, we almost didn't. It was just more work.
So the fact that people do listen on Spotify and Apple and Pandora and all those other things, because we're on all of them, I'm glad that you guys are getting value out of that.
They said they are disclaiming as much as possible.
There's almost 800 people in the live and less than 200 likes. Are you fucking kidding me? Holy shit. I haven't looked at the YouTube chat. I've been looking at the chat thing from AJ.
Oh, yeah, it's nonstop.
728 people currently in there.
Wow.
Haley Parker for $10. How can I get my boyfriend of 3 years to think about living together and our future? He says he doesn't like worrying about that stuff, so I don't know how to feel about that.
Was this a discussion?
This is a whole ass conversation, and we've actually made podcasts about this, so you can go and look at the side pieces. I think from 10 to 15. Go ahead, babe. I just wanted to clarify that so that we've actually discussed this already. They know.
Yeah. Just a lot of questions. Watch the videos.
Okay.
If this is something that wasn't discussed long term, of being in a committed relationship, moving in together once we get to that point, having children, and it was brought up a year into it, and you're like, hey, I'm thinking about moving together. And he's like, nah, not really into it.
Yeah.
Year and a half. Okay, well, have you reconsidered? Nah, not really into it.
Yeah, he's
2
telling
years,
you.
3 years.
He's telling you what he wants. He doesn't want that.
Yeah.
Yep. So the conversation needs to be during the courting phase. Is marriage important to you? Is kids important to you? How does that look? What kind of retirement goals do you have? Courting before dating is a great way to create a foundation without sexual intimacy involved so that you guys have an understanding of what's what for each other.
And for those of you who are like, well, what's courting? You're building a friendship.
Mm-hmm.
Courting is building a friendship. That way, at the end of courting, you don't have sex. You can maybe a little bit of PTA, exchange a hug, maybe kiss the cheek. There's not a lot of physical intimacy going on yet because you're still learning the person.
Yep.
With that physical intimacy going on, if things don't work out, there's no devastation on either side.
Yep. So if you're 3 years into a relationship with somebody and he's not even willing to have a conversation with you about living together, he's telling you that you don't really have a real future. You're a placeholder.
You're a bookmark.
You should ask him that. Do you see me as a bookmark? Are you waiting for the next best thing to come along? Because that's how you're making me feel by not even willing to discuss the potentiality of us moving in together.
That would devastate me. With us having what we have and how dope our relationship is, I'm going to be honest, during the early stages of our dating phase, I never thought we would move in together.
No?
No. So when you started bringing up those conversations, I was like, the same thing with the proposal. I was like, are you fucking with me?
Yeah.
So when that really started happening, I was like, hey, is this what I want? I didn't respond to you immediately. I really had to sit down and figure out. It wasn't a going by the seat of my coattails, if that's the thing that people say.
Yeah. Seat of your pants.
Yeah. It definitely has to be a conversation.
Yep. Those conversations need to happen early on. Mm-hmm. Carla Marie said, I have revisited the conversation of lack of sex 5 times. He doesn't seem to think of it as something important. What can I do?
Lack of sex.
Yep. Sounds to me like there could be a whole lot of things going on, but what is the intimacy like in your relationship? Because women control the intimacy.
Correct.
If you don't have a good relationship, if he's no longer attracted to you, those could be problems. However, the best thing that needs to happen right now is he needs to get his blood checked. He needs to get his hormone levels checked.
I would also have that uncomfortable conversation of, are you getting it elsewhere? Are you watching porn? Are you self-pleasuring? Because I'm starting to look to those avenues and I don't want to deprive my husband of having that from me.
Right. Here's another thought on that. Mm-hmm. If it's important to you and it isn't important to him, the conversation of why is it not important needs to happen. And then it needs to be addressed. Well, it's important to me and we're married.
Yeah.
Well, if they're married, it doesn't say. That's an assumption. But if you're married, it is your duty to take care of your partner. So one thing that you're not allowed to do outside of the relationship is get intimacy.
Right. You know what's absolutely insane to me?
Is the amount of hate that you get on TikTok when you say that?
Oh, constantly. No, what's actually insane to me, that's actually not insane to me. I expect nonetheless from humanity. I mean, you guys never cease to disappoint, I promise. When it comes to conversations, if I were ever out of commission for an extended period of time, or you were out of commission for an extended period of time and we were not able to have that, I know exactly what we would be doing or what avenues we would be taking to maintain that intimacy. And it's because of conversations that we had in that dating and courting. Have you guys talked to your spouse about what's going to happen if you're ever paralyzed?
No, we've had those conversations.
Would you ever have you had conversations with your spouse about what would happen if you became, is it incompetent? The thing don't do the thing no more?
Impotent?
Impotent. When your thing don't do the thing no more. Have you had conversations about that?
What happens when the drill sergeant no longer stands at attention?
Right. It's no longer a potato. We got a little soft potato going on. You can mash that thing with a fork. Have you guys had those conversations? Because we have. We know what steps we would take if that became an issue within the relationship.
Yep. The brother conversation earlier, he hit us with another $5 and said, yes, he said that her 2 kids were flops because he was mad at me for something that wasn't her fault. So in this situation, you choose your partner over your brother because when you get married, you're choosing to create your own family. When you create your own family, your family either gets on board with it or steps aside so that you can thrive.
Yes.
That's what marriage is. You until death do us part. You are making your priority, your partner, your number one priority for the rest of your life. Your family should respect that. And if they can't respect that, you got to cut them loose. Mm-hmm. I'm not keeping people in my life that brings me drama.
I agree.
I'm
with
not.
that.
And if you can't respect my woman, you definitely don't respect me because she's my priority. Savannah West for $4.99. Advice ? Boyfriend wanting to travel for work for several months at a time. Can stay local. And me flat out saying I don't like it. Quality. I don't know what that qual time L.lang. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means.
Can I read that? Boyfriend wanted to travel for work for several months at a time, can stay local, and me flat out saying I don't like it. Quality time is love language.
Oh, there you go. Damn, girl, you're smart. Bad bitch. I had no idea. I was like, I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, who the fuck is L.lang?
I got you.
I thought that was a name.
Really?
Fucking TBI over here.
Okay.
Been hitting the head a lot. That's a discussion that really needs to be had. How long have you guys been together? He's a boyfriend, not a husband. Mm-hmm. Those things matter. What is the goals in life? Are you guys trying to buy a house? Are you guys trying to actually get married one day? Like, there's a whole lot of backstory that needs to be had here so that I can send you on your side quest. Stevie for $5. This was the drunk threatening boyfriend.
Okay.
I was asking for future reference because I've been looking at better communication. Okay.
Okay, wait, before. So she was looking for future reference.
For better communication.
Okay, is she still with this person?
No, this was, okay, so I'd have to scroll back all the way up, but from my memory of the conversation, she was trying to have a conversation with her ex.
Okay,
about,
it's an ex.
Right, about ways that, he was the one that said, you're just looking for reasons to fight.
Right, I didn't know that was an ex. I thought they were still together.
Well, that was later super chat. She said that they had conversations about it. It was about him drinking where he would get violent and that they're no longer together.
Right.
And she said, I'm asking for future reference because I've been looking at better, for better communicating. Because I've been looking at better communication. Fuck, I can read, I promise.
Well, first, I would, if I were you, I'd ask myself, am I even okay with being someone who drinks casually at this point?
Which is a courting phase question.
Yes. So, I'm not sober. I drink every once in a while. I'm not drinking every Friday night.
Right.
The last time I had a glass of wine.
It's been a while. It was on a podcast. It's been a while.
It was on a live when we were still
in the other room.
In the other room with the TV on the thing.
Yep. It's been a while.
It has been a while. And the last time I had a mixed drink was when we went to Cine Bistro like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, are you okay with being anybody who drinks, period? Are you okay with someone who casually drinks when you guys are out and about? Are you okay with someone having a scotch at night before bedtime? How comfortable are you around alcohol at this point? And then definitely ask during the courting phase, how much do you drink? And I would disclose, this is an issue for me. I have past trauma due to somebody who would be violent, and I just can't be with somebody in this point in my life who drinks excessively.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like those questions need to be had ahead of time. But when it comes to the better communicating aspect of that, it needs to be addressed from a you standpoint, not a them standpoint. This is the way I feel when XYZ is happening. I would like to have a discussion about it because I don't feel good about this, or I feel like we can improve in this scenario.
Your food's on the way.
Dope. Zach, for $10, said, if you are interested in expediting an email reading, go to tobebetter.co/downloads and fill out the form. Emails are read on Sundays live with a live back and forth. Zach, I appreciate you so much, dude. You've made my life so much easier over the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
It's fucking godsend, bro. Courtney Farmer for $4.99 said, y'all helped me learn to trust in being submissive instead of so fiercely independent. I've never felt so empowered and safe. Thank you so much. We love y'all. Did you ever think that we would get an email from someone who said, I am learning to trust being submissive instead of fiercely independent, and I have never felt so empowered and safe?
No, because I was very much a fuck all men. I can do this by myself.
Right. And there is a very big difference in those two things and the feeling of all of it.
Yeah.
It's wild. I love that. Gremlin Girl said, for $1.99, thanks for everything you do.
You're welcome.
Amanda Morse for $4.99 says, my man complains no sex. I've repeatedly told him he doesn't touch me or love on me the way he used to. There's no intimacy. His actions don't change.
There's a reason
Right.
that it's not what it used to be.
Right.
Either you guys fell out of the honeymoon phase, you're past the 2 years and that obsession phase is gone, or your actions have changed and he's followed suit.
Well, intimacy is dictated by the woman in the relationship, and she says there is no intimacy. So what does she do to fix that?
Start doing intimate things. Sit
Well,
on his lap.
What if she doesn't want to be the one to instigate it all the time? Because that's going to be the next question. Why
Then
should
you
I
don't
be
want it that bad.
Why should I be the one that always engages?
Then you don't want it that bad.
Right. Yep. Sometimes relationships are not 50-50. They're 100-100. And that 100 sometimes looks like 10-90. Sometimes it looks like fucking 5-95. Sometimes it looks, you know what I mean? Like,
Sometimes you guys combined are at 35.
yeah, that's life sometimes. But if you want something, you fucking go for it. And you try to keep that flame alive, because it's a lot easier to keep a fire going than it is to reignite one. Sierra Turner, $2. What would you do if partner spouse before you passed? I wouldn't do anything. They're dead. What do you mean?
I'm
What
so
would I do?
confused.
What would you do if partner spouse before you passed? I wouldn't do anything. That shit has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, I'm confused. Why is that?
I don't know, but that was the question, so I answered it.
Are you feeling insecure? Do you feel like you're competing
With a dead
with
person?
somebody who's passed away?
I
Yeah.
don't know. You
I would
guys-
need an elaboration.
a lot more detail, guys. Carla said, haven't had hormones checked, no cheating. In my opinion, he seems to get anxiety during, like it doesn't come naturally to him. It gets better after conversation, but it's a pattern now and goes back to no sex. It could be an insecurity thing, like she said, anxiety. When a man knows he's doing it for his woman, he's more likely to do it for his woman. When you have a woman who is not in it, or you can tell is not 100% engaged in what's going on, eventually that's going to stop.
Right.
Big Danny, $9.99 said, holy chat, I need a smoke. Y'all are killing this live. Thanks for giving us this opportunity this morning of learning some new things. Like the vid and do all the things to get the notifications. I love our Discord people.
Me too, man.
Chloe for $4.99 said, my boyfriend is of almost 2 years broke up with me because I haven't been working. I want to show him I can fix it and work and help support us. How do I show him? You do that before he broke up with you, because I'm sure at some point he expressed the need for you to go to work.
Right.
Or you find a man who's financially stable enough to support you, and then you don't have to work anymore, but you still got to carry your weight.
Right.
Why? You're at 2 years.
Right. I'm also thinking, were you not doing anything around the house?
Right. There's a whole lot of questions that go into that.
A lot going on.
Stevie, the same this is the drunk one.
Okay.
I've been single since my ex, and I'm so happy I found you two while single. Thank you so much for everything you two do. I've grown a lot. I would recommend going into our side piece playlist and binge that shit. There is a lot of valuable information there for single people that are starting to want to get back into the dating game, and we've discussed a lot of the shit at length.
I want a Renaissance painting of me blowing smoke with a side profile. With fire behind me.
We're caught up.
We're caught up.
There's still 650 people here.
Whew.
And it's 2:00. So how much longer do you want to do this?
I don't know. Your food's on the way.
I know. Well, my food is okay. I'll eat on the live stream. I don't give a fuck if people see me.
Oh, well, I guess when my
face.
food gets picked up, we have at least another 30 minutes.
All right. Oh, man. You guys are making me learn to be more submissive, but I need my husband to be a better leader, protector, and provider. We're not making you do anything. You're making the choice because you would prefer to be more submissive. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, you want your husband or your man to be a better leader. She said husband. So you need to have that conversation. That needs to be a real like deep dive conversation at dinner.
Yeah.
Go out to a restaurant, no kids, no friends or family, and sit down, ask for a table away from everyone. And while you're eating, be like, hey, I've noticed that I really want to be submissive to you, and I want you to lead, protect, and provide. And right now, I feel like there's areas that you can improve on that, and here's how. And give him a rundown. Be fucking direct about it. Don't be an ass, but be direct. This is how you can improve.
Tadron's approaching with your food.
All right. Give you the camera.
Love that name. Tadron. Even if that's not his government name, I appreciate it. Like somebody came up with that. Ugh. So how are you guys doing? I would paint that. Taylor Livingston, could you paint that? Because now you said it with your full chest and I'm putting you on the spot about it.
I'm going to leave that on the counter and we can eat together.
Oh, thank you.
One of our old artists just texted me. I wonder if he's gonna be looking for a job.
The chat is moving so quickly. Angela Marshall asked something, and now it's gone. So if anybody can find that and send it, that'd be fantastic. I was choking after that hit, and I was trying to get that out before I lost her name, and you came in. Okay. Somebody, an old artist messaged you?
Yeah. We'll talk about it afterwards. Finally caught you guys live. Hello from the Philippines. You guys have really helped me realize how to be a better wife partner. Really appreciate both of y'all. That says a lot because if you're actually from the Philippines, that's part of your culture. It's very normal.
I love that we're in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Alexa, she said, I see that pin, Peaches. I'm glad you did because there was a point after I took my hit that I kind of just like dangled it, hoping somebody would see it. Also, it's just on me still.
Glamourcraft said, how to find a protector, leader, provider man after divorce and traumas.
Sort through your traumas.
Yeah, go back and watch episode 11 forward of the side piece. That's literally that entire conversation, has been done. Mm-hmm. And we are continuing that. So that 11.5 started with working through your traumas after a relationship.
And what it looked like.
From us, yes. Right. Then episode 12 started with courting and dating. And then it went into the next step. And I don't remember which ones were which, but the one that we just recorded, which has been Ruminations and Revelations episode 1, which is technically episode 16 of the side piece, goes into hobbies.
Yes.
So we cover our opinions on those topics moving through the phase. So if you were to watch them back to back, it would look like what it looks like from fixing like yourself in between relationships to addressing hobbies and escapism in your new relationship. I'm excited about the way those are playing out. I like those. Did you get it?
I'm going to brag for a minute to you. I can itch my own shoulder blade. Can you do that?
No, I can't. I can't even touch my shoulder blade.
Unnecessarily cocky. I apologize.
Yeah. Look at you, Miss Flexible. Samantha for $9.99 said, how can I learn to articulate my meaning better? Sometimes I try to have a conversation with my boyfriend and I have a hard time getting the correct words out.
Learn new words.
Yeah. You need to understand the way he communicates and then communicate that way. Some people need very direct, low information, not a lot of detail. And if they need detail, they'll ask you about it. Men process information differently than women do. Our brains are not the same. It's science.
Yeah.
But don't try to have an emotional conversation. When you find yourself starting to get emotional, dial it back, take time to process and formulate your thoughts, and then have the conversation. Tiffany Emery, can Peaches say Worcestershire sauce? I always say wash your sister sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
Somebody paid us $5 to hear you say that.
Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Fuck. Send me $5. I'll pretty much say anything.
Jeez. That's not going to get us kicked off the live.
Yeah, that won't get us kicked off the live.
Day Kitty reads. I don't know. We are LD, but BF buries himself in work and communication is dead. We used to fall asleep on the phone. Now he barely responds to any text or calls. That means you're not a priority in his life anymore.
Accurate.
I really don't understand how you guys do long distance relationships.
Yeah, I dated a dude in Italy once.
And it didn't work.
No, it really
here
didn't.
we are.
It was not an experience. I mean, it was definitely an experience, just not one of my favorite.
How do I reassure my woman when she gets anxious because I won't eat until she sits down to eat? Why is there an anxiousness there? You're being a gentleman. You're waiting for her to sit down so that you two can eat together. You explain, I want to sit down and have dinner with my woman. There's nothing to be anxious about. We're going to eat together.
I'm all about having people figure out what the fuck's going on with them.
Yeah.
Why are you so anxious about this? Like, what is this something from your childhood? Was someone telling you that it's wrong for me to wait for you? Like, is that the root of things? You guys have to find the root of things. Especially when it's a strange thing like that. I could never imagine feeling anxious because you're waiting to eat with me.
I'm gonna read this, and I'm gonna sound real fucking stupid because this doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
This is from Jen. Send this to Peaches. Tips for soothing the blow that your top isn't healthy enough to be your top. What the fuck does that mean?
Oh, so I asked someone to find that Angela whoever snippet. That's what she said.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I thought I was reading it wrong, and I was trying to read it. So I didn't read it wrong. That is what it said, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Page K for $9.99 says, my boyfriend rejects me often when I initiate spicy time. I've communicated how it makes me feel. I'm discouraged to continue initiating. We only do it when it's convenient for him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you enter the roommate phase. Mm-hmm. Because his needs are not your needs, and your needs are not his needs. It's only when it's convenient for him. So his needs are only his needs, I mean.
So pretty much he's using you for self-pleasuring.
That's exactly what that is.
You're like a fleshlight. Someone says 45 minutes away long distance. No.
No, it's not. You can do that drive, no problem.
Right.
It's priority. Zach for $5 said, how do you find a man that is a leader and be someone worth leading?
Ooh, correct.
Kara sent us $5. Nicole sent us $1. Nicole sent us $2 and said, how can I help my family accept my PG? Can't enjoy it. What is PG?
PG. Can I see? No, never mind.
How can I help my family accept my PG? Can't enjoy it. I don't know what the fuck that means. Elena said, how do you know the difference between your personal boundaries and your spouse's expectations? You have conversations about them. Mm-hmm. She sent another chat for $5. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Danielle sent one, said mods are killing the chat. Appreciate y'all for $2.
Oh, yeah. They're nailing it.
Elena said, again, how do you know the difference between your personal boundaries and spouse's expectations? Again, you have that conversation with them. You don't know if you don't talk. People are not psychic. They can't read your mind. Telepathy does not exist. Mm-hmm. Kirsty said, I have trouble with showing my feelings and expressing my emotions. I automatically go defensive and feel like I'm being attacked. Do you know any tips that can help me? I have trouble showing my feelings and expressing my emotions. I automatically...
Pause. Read that one more time.
I have trouble with showing my feelings and expressing my emotions.
Okay.
I automatically go defensive.
Pause. I would first recommend identifying your emotions. If you can't communicate your emotions, that means you really don't even know what's going on with you.
And then said, I feel like I'm being attacked. Do you know any tips that can help me? You got trauma you need to work through.
Yeah.
And you need to address what that trauma is. And then you need to figure out the way that you communicate and how you prefer to be communicated with, and those conversations need to happen. Raina said, how do I get hubby to do fixes around the house? Say, I'd appreciate it if you would. Wait, not done. Wait weeks. Ask again. It doesn't get done.
Repeat that for me, please.
How do I get hubby to do fixes around the house?
Okay, like maintenance shit.
Yeah, honey-do list. I say, I'd appreciate it if you would. I wait, not done. Wait weeks. Ask again. It doesn't get done.
I would just start hiring somebody to do it.
Right, I would too.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask anymore.
I would ask twice.
I would ask.
It would make me really happy if you did this. Give them the chance to make you happy, and then a week or two goes by. If it's not done, be like, hey, can you do this? I know that we talked about this. It would make me really happy if you did this for me. And then if they don't do it again after a week or two of that, be like, hey, I'm going to hire somebody to do this because I've asked you twice and you haven't done it.
Oh, I wouldn't even say that.
I would, because it's going to give them the third opportunity to fix it. And if not, they'll understand why the fuck somebody else is there doing the job that they should be doing.
Yeah. That, or I would just do it myself.
Yeah. Yep. Heather sent a thing that said, your food's getting cold. You both deserve to eat fresh, hot food. I actually think that I want to call this anyways.
Okay.
So with that being said, guys, we really appreciate you guys chiming in. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. We are trying to get to 100,000. If you enjoy what we're doing here, check out the Patreon. Discord link is on Patreon, and you can get there by connecting your Patreon to Discord in the Patreon website, not the app, the website. So when you join Patreon, if you want to get into Discord and you're in the tier that allows it, that's how you get there. We just got one more super chat. This is going to be the last one I read. No more supers. And then we're done.
All right.
Although I don't understand why it's showing in one screen and not the other. Oh, because it just refreshed. We've been friends for 5 years together for almost one. Been working OOS and trying to move back. How do I become a priority because unsure if moving back will help?
If you're already not a priority.
This was a long distance relationship.
The one about them moving in together?
No, this was a long distance relationship where they used to fall asleep on the phone together and she's no longer a priority. We've been friends for 5 years, together for almost one, been working out of state and trying to move back. How do I become a priority because unsure if moving back will help? If you guys are not doing well together in a year, just cut your loss and move on. It's a year. It's not that big of a time. It's not a huge loss. Like, they're showing you where you are in their life as a priority. If you're not a priority in a year, just cut the fucking loss and move on from it. I truly believe that.
Yeah, if he was still into it, he would still be calling and doing all the things.
Yep. Is there anything you would like to add to all this before I push this button?
No, thank you guys for coming. I can't believe we got up to 700 people watching at one point.
Yep.
And we've maintained pretty high.
We're almost 600 right now.
That's crazy. Thank you guys for spending this time with us.
Yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow night for the first book of Choice Theory.
Yes, the first chapter.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.